Oh, damn it.
Like, it's your final fucking season, and you guys are still like, there's still plot armor for almost every fucking character.
Yeah.
Like I get that Jaime Lannister's thing was circular, and that he loved his sister. He was actually in love with her so much that he just wanted to. He would die for her, and he literally did, just holding her. I get it. It was an attempt at a beautiful moment, but it would have been way more badass to see him die in combat, or like throw his life away for something that meant something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's his whole arc that they build up over 10 years, is that he's like trying to like be something greater than himself and overcome his own selfish desires. And in the end, he just gives in to his own selfish desires. It's like, really? Did you just goad us for 10 years for that?
It's like they try to build up that moment at the end when he's going to die. But at the end of the day, he's still a sister kisser. And it still feels fucking weird.
Yeah, it's gross. It's real gross. But the thing is, like, why is it that the Hound and the Mountain standoff was the one battle that I gave a shit? The only thing that had emotional weight to me in the final season was the battle of the Mountain and the Hound. And even that they kind of cheesed it. They made it so fucking like
Clegane Bowl, bro.
Count of Monte Cristo. Like, it fucking is terrible.
I actually loved that. I don't think it was perfect, but I did like it. I thought it was well done. I felt like it was like, I felt like they built this tension and it was like enough to go like, okay, that was a good ending. I would have liked him to see him have to, Clegane, that is, like, actually willingly choose to overcome his fear of fire. It was more like he just tackled him through a wall and ended up in fire as some like forced symbolism. But like, I feel like forcing him to like make the decision to walk through fire to fight him or something would have been a little better. But overall, I still thought it was good. And I agree that of the whole last season, that's like really the only arc that was satisfying to me in any way.
Well, that was the thing though too. Like Arya had this incredible like. There seemed like there was so much lore written in the books about, and I haven't read them. I'll be honest, I haven't read the books.
I only read the first one.
But there's so much, like, it seems like the Faceless Men. There's so much deep lore behind them that we barely scratched the surface. And then they said fuck, they forgot all about it. They just didn't talk about it ever again. Like you're a faceless man, but like you just did like a weird like World of Warcraft rogue move on the Night King. You didn't use any kind of like, you didn't use any of your skill set except for the backflip and the stab. Really.
I actually like her whole arc is like really enjoyable up until the Faceless Man arc. Then I think it just gets stupid.
It was called Eviscerate, actually.
my whole thing, like the minute I was like, don't get me wrong, I hated Game of Thrones for a while before. Like I remember I would post on Facebook about how bad it was. Everyone was like, "You just don't like it because it's popular." Like, no, I don't like it because it's taken a serious nosedive in quality. Yeah. And But when they stabbed the Night King and all the other ones were just like, oh no, vampire rules. You're like, you lazy hack writers. How is that your move?
No, vampire rules.
Yeah. If you get bit by the Night King, you become one. Like, how does it work? Like, I know if they touch you, you become one of the. You don't become a White Walker. You become like one of the undead, like one of the mindless zombies.
Yeah,
not even. It's just if you get raised by like the Night King or one of his like generals or whatever they're called, White Walkers. That's what they're called.
Yeah, I think that's the Night King's the one who's actually. Are they all necromancers confirmed, or is it just the Night King who can raise?
You know, I don't think they ever really said. There's a lot of things they didn't say.
Yeah, but I remember in season 1, episode 1, they say those who've been touched come back. Like, or not episode 1, maybe episode 2 or 3, because it's when Jon Snow's on the wall. He like first he gets shipped off to the wall. And he's talking to one of the guy who was the head before.
Right.
What's his name's fucking dad or some shit? I don't.
Yeah. Whatever his name was, Gregor Mormont or something. Jor Mormont. That was it.
Yeah. He talks about those who've been touched by the White Walkers. You have to watch out for them because they'll come back. Yeah. I told you how I captured that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty great. I have the sound off so you can't hear people screaming at me right now, but they're pretty mad, yeah.
They were
what
pretty
are you
mad.
doing?
All I want to point out with Game of Thrones is that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were rumored, and I think they are still in line to make some Star Wars films.
Nope.
Like they're supposed to be.
Nope.
They're not anymore. Well, you should be very thankful because they might have been reboots of the original trilogy. And the only change they would have made is that Luke would have just thirsted for Leia even after finding out she was his sister.
Even found out she was his sister, then fucked her. Like on the dirt on Endor, just in the mud.
And he wouldn't have told her either.
With
that
a bunch of Ewoks cheering him on like the fucking sand people.
That's where I was going with this. That's where I was going with this, Derek, is that he would have found out, but he wouldn't have ever told her, and he still would have lusted after her, and we just would have known his dirty little fucking secret.
Yeah.
Him trying to be a sister kisser.
Also, Han Solo would have bummed Greedo. 100%.
Welcome to the Cynical Nerd, episode 11.
That can't be how we started.
That's fantastic. Rebooting a dark and gritty Star Wars original trilogy where the only difference is, two differences, plus the one Scott talked about. But the only main difference is that Luke is a dirty, dirty sister kisser. And
if George R. R. Martin wrote Star Wars, can you imagine what it'd be like?
Oh man, don't want to.
We'd still be waiting on episode 6, so I don't know what you're fucking.
True.
We have all kinds of
stuff.
The
good news is he died before we get episodes 7 through 9, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's true. We wouldn't get 6, but we wouldn't get the sequel trilogy either.
Nope.
we would have Hollywood Studios would be fighting over the rights to his estate so that they could take the properties and do what they want with them.
Oh, is that a token dig?
Kind of, but more so just studios are fucking greedy, and they would have been battling to get the fucking rights to remake them.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing today? How's it going? How you doing, Scott?
Good, man. I've been working a lot. I had a lot of fun last night. We played Sea of Thieves together. We did our third Cynical Nerd podcast co-stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to playing some more games with you guys this week, man. Sea of Thieves is incredibly fun. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, and I'm literally like driving around at work, and I'm like every time I'm daydreaming about like what island am I gonna go to? Get back up.
What island am I gonna go to?
Are there gonna be some
tonight?
Are there gonna be some scaly boys on that
island? Derek, how about you? How you doing?
Pretty good. Not too bad. I'm a little sweaty, but other than that, just holding up, doing well. I agree with the assessment on Sea of Thieves too. I thought that was going to be like a one-off thing, and then we move on to something else. Feels like we might be on Sea of Thieves for a little while with these co-streams because we've been kind of having a blast.
It's fun.
Yeah,
we definitely have to hop in some squadrons though.
Yeah.
Hey,
I saw
just
earlier today. I saw an ad for that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have that now." Scott got that for me, and I still haven't installed it.
Oh, for shame!
Your homework tonight is to install squadrons and do the tutorial.
To hit one button after we're done.
Your homework from Substitute Kelly.
God, I would be a terrible teacher.
You'd be the best teacher.
You ever think back to like how many of your substitute teachers were very visually like it was obviously we're hungover.
Oh yeah,
100%.
You just didn't know because you were in like second grade. Like, why is Mr. Jameson all sweaty? Like well, his name is Mr. Jameson. Take a fucking guess, kids.
You're in high school and you're like, 36 must suck. He's taking like 12 Tylenols this morning because his headache. Like, I don't want to get old. That seems like it's going to be the worst.
Yeah. Why does it seem hotter in here for him than it is for us?
But also, like when you saw a substitute teacher who was like in their 20s, you're like, this tracks. But like when you saw one like in his 30s or 40s, like that guy made some bad decisions.
Yeah, this guy's fucking up a little bit, isn't he?
I should listen to this guy about anything, let alone U.S. history. Yeah,
the lights in the front of the classroom must be hotter than the ones in the back. It's so weird. He won't stop sweating.
Has anyone seen my Adderall, Mr. J? Have you seen my Adderall? It was in my lunchbox and it's gone now.
It seemed to disappear after someone pulled that fire alarm and we all had to go outside. We have a metric ton of week in review stuff to cover. Quite a bit. And then we have two things to talk about for our main topics. One of them very exciting. The other one very bad. And they are The Mandalorian episode 6 titled The Tragedy, which we now know. Also, I got to say, I love that they don't tell you the title of the episode until the episode comes out. Yeah. So that the internet cannot speculate to high hell. Yeah. So that's like a little, every time we start a new episode, I hit play and I'm like, oh, the tragedy. Oh, what the fuck's going to happen? Basically what happens. And then we have Fat Man to talk about. So Fat Man is a Mel Gibson film. Well, it's not a Mel Gibson film. Mel Gibson's the star of it. Mel Gibson, Walter Goggins. He plays Santa Claus. and we talked about the trailer quite a few weeks ago and decided to watch it, even though reviews were, let's say, less than enthusiastic about it.
I would say abysmal.
Optimistic.
Like the Rotten Tomatoes rating is just a shit emoji.
It's a big old poop emoji.
Yeah.
And we have lots of thoughts about that. I have a feeling we're all going to feel pretty unanimous about it, though. But to get started in the Week in Review news, there is a Super Nintendo World opening in Japan. It looks kind of fucking crazy. They put out like a 47-second trailer. It's going to be opening in the Universal Studios Japan, February 4th, 2021. It's real close. Couple months.
Yeah.
So my only question... Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, my only question is when you buying your tickets?
Well, I feel like now
the ones to Japan or the ones to the theme park?
All of the above.
I mean, it's going to be desolate, right? Like people are going to flood in there in the heat of the second wave of a pandemic. But also, like whenever you see even just flu season in Japan, that everyone always has masks on. Like for decades now, they all just are very socially responsible. Yeah. They all genuinely care about their health and the health of people around them. So I feel like if there is one place you're going to take a destination vacation in the height of a pandemic, Japan's probably your safest fucking bet. And while you're there, you can buy some panties in a vending machine like the fucking weirdo weebs you are.
I was going to say, okay. We're striking hard at the weebs again. Will they even allow Americans into Japan for the opening of this park?
I don't think so at all.
They really shouldn't. We should be grounded in our room until 2030. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I think that, I think it's March is like opening day, like just a couple months away, unless I read that wrong.
February 4th, 2021.
Okay. Yeah. So I think like they themselves have such strict guidelines during COVID that I think that's going to be pushed back. Like their government's a little more iron fisted about their lockdown orders and they have incredibly low case amounts. But even still, they're like, remaining steadfast with it and telling people to stay inside. So I don't think this park is even going to open in 2 months. But if it does, they're not going to let us there. We can't go 100%. Nah. A lot of the world doesn't like us right now. So I don't think they're going to let us into the country, let alone the theme parks.
Our country is that kid who didn't read the book and is trying to do a book report right now. Like that's who we are in the social. We are like
I was really good at that though. So bad analogy. I will sneak into Japan and get into Super Mario or Super Nintendo World.
Okay, we're the kid who is trying to be friends with the 45-year-old substitute teacher. How about that?
Oh no!
The guy who brings like a Snickers bar instead of an apple for that 45-year-old hungover mess. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's like, "Here you go, Sean." On a first name basis. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh god, that makes it so much worse.
But in a vacuum, the park itself looks incredible. Like this is the exact kind of thing that I want to hate. But like upon looking at the trailer, I was like, that looks like a fucking blast.
Yeah.
My understanding is it's opening at Universal in Japan. So like hopefully it does well there. And so they bring it here so we don't have to spend $4,000 to go to Japan just to experience it. But, we'll see, I guess.
To me, man, like that it has like a weird plastic quality when you see like the outside. But when they showed the inside of Bowser's castle, when they showed like that wide shot like panning across the skyline, all I could think of was Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
I just wanted to watch Smithy fall out of the sky and pierce the roof of that castle. I'm so excited when they showed the statue of Bowser at the top of the staircase, dude. I was like, just take my money, take my blood.
Yeah.
Take my blood.
Take my blood and my cum, just drain me and give me a plane ticket. and maybe a glass of orange juice, because I'm gonna have really low blood sugar.
You're gonna need it. Yeah. All right. Up next, we have kind of big insider, corporate news, if it's true. So Collider is reporting that multiple Hulu executives have been leaving or let go from that service in anticipation of a potential combining of Hulu and Disney Plus into one streaming service under the Disney umbrella. So, one, I didn't even know Disney owned Hulu, but not really a surprise because they own everything. They probably own my son, and I'm not even aware of it. I probably signed some contract 3 years ago whenever I bought something from them that said they get my firstborn. But this would be a big deal, right? Hulu has a lot of components in it that don't exist in Disney Plus. They have live TV. There's a lot of commercials. Disney Plus currently has none. I don't know. My initial gut reaction is leave them separate. But I'm really interested to hear you guys' thoughts. This just came out today, and we haven't talked about it. Derek, what do you think about it?
So, to be honest, I'm not really sure. Like, I think that in the past we've talked about how annoying it is that you have all these different stream services. And so, like, the idea of them sort of combining so you don't have to pay all these different monthly things, and that you don't have to, like, oh, is it on this app? No. Okay, let's check that app. Okay, not on that one either. Let's check the third one. Like that. You know, off the cuff seems like it would be good, but something about Disney being like having more of an umbrella over fucking everything is like terrifying to me. Like, how much of media are they going to have a stranglehold on before we're all just like unknowingly Disney employees? Like, I think that when you have competing services that offer different things, you know, they have to offer, one has to offer something that's better than the other in order to split that crowd. So it's like, I know what I'm saying is contradicting itself, because it's like, I'm talking about how things should be more unified, but at the same time, you know, I think competition is healthy. So frankly, I don't have a solidified opinion on this just yet. And since it's just a rumor, and so there's not really a whole lot of news to go off of anyway, you know, I think I'll just wait until more info trickles down. But I would say, like, my off the cuff thing is like, I'm not too into that idea. Then again, apparently they already own Hulu, which I wasn't aware of either. Right. So, I mean, what would really change? I don't know. That's what I mean. I'm just kind of waiting for more info to come.
If they already own it, then it's more like housekeeping to clean it up. You know what I mean? Like, the other thing to take into consideration before Scott gives his thoughts is that they would likely raise the price of Disney Plus, right? I mean, otherwise they're going to lose revenue. Now, obviously, there's no fucking way they could get away with combining both prices into one. So it would, you know, you'd probably pay a little bit more to get the features of Hulu. Or maybe they would do like an add-on subscription, because Hulu lets you add on channels into it. Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, it's still a rumor. But Scott, what do you, yay, nay? How do you feel about it?
Well, I just start off by saying that whenever I hear that faceless, nameless executives are getting fired, it gets my cock rock hard. I could arm wrestle with my dick right now. I'm so excited to hear. I didn't know.
I thought I heard someone flick a tea kettle. It's so weird.
I didn't know. I didn't know that this was happening until I got home from work like 20 minutes ago and read through the updated doc. And to me, like, I mean, you already have so many services that come bundled, right? You have Spotify and Hulu for the same, like, for one unified price right now. If you happen to be a member of both and you haven't combined your linked your accounts yet, you can save probably $5 a month by doing so. If it's
Are you a Hulu like salesman or something? I wasn't aware of that, so that's something I'm going to do. Like, that's also part of my homework now, to combine those accounts. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only $5 a month, but that's like half a pack of cigarettes, a couple cups of coffee. Right. So I mean, it's, you get more for your money when they do combine services like this, but it's also something where they allow you to have tier packages. You know, like with Hulu, you're allowed to do add-ons for this, and this. Why wouldn't they just do something similar with Disney Plus on Hulu? Right. I guess the answer would be because they want the big umbrella to be Daddy Disney. They don't want to have Disney feel like it's an offset of Hulu, but vice versa. As long as it doesn't affect the content, I'm all for it. If it's going to save me a few dollars a month, I'm already paying for both. If I can pay one price for both of them and it's a little bit cheaper, fuck yeah. But the problem seems to be that there's speculation as to whether or not Disney would have the balls to acquire a lot of the properties that Hulu has done independently. There's a new thriller movie Run that just came out on Hulu in the last like 2 weeks with the girl from American Horror Story. Mm-hmm. You know the one. What's her fucking
It's either
name?
The pretty young blonde or the old pretty blonde.
It's one
of those. The middle-aged pretty blonde.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah Paulson.
Gotcha. So yeah. And there's, we talked about Palm Springs before, how great Palm Springs was. That wouldn't be something that I imagine would be in Disney's wheelhouse. I don't think they would have, like, even the article says, like, that was acquired from Sundance by Hulu, and it's doubtful that Disney would have made the same move if they were in control of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of what was going on the platform. But at the same time, I feel like it's important that they differentiate, because they now own, again, like all these rated R properties that have giant cult followings. and you can't polish everything and make it squeaky clean to fit one image. If you're going to own everything, you have to be willing to produce and back and stand by everything that falls under that umbrella.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's what worries me. And we talked a couple weeks ago about, them acquiring, now they have the rights to Deadpool, of course. Yeah. And of course, neither of those were family friendly movies. And so, like, what are they going to do in the future with that? Those are the kind of things that worry me, like existing things. And not only that, but like new IPs that will, never come to be just because they're deemed too racy or too gory or too,
We were worried about Deadpool 3 for that exact same reason.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, like you said, it's a rumor still, so we don't have a whole lot to go off of, but I thought it was worth discussing. Especially because it's in that kind of weird spot where, they already own both. So it's not really Disney sucking up more shit in the marketplace, but it still feels icky to me somewhere. Yeah. I don't know. Something feels weird about it. Okay, so moving on. We got a little bit of DC news here about the Wonder Woman film coming out in December. Well, shit, it is December. This month. Fucking less than 20 days now it comes
19
out.
days, boys.
Yeah, dude. Oh, shit.
Well,
so there's actually
18 days, 6 hours.
Oh,
5 hours, 30 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
We can probably stop there.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I have a countdown timer running on my desktop at all times. So I was actually thinking we were going to get some additional DC news before we podcasted. That doesn't seem to be the case, but there is a CCXP going on in Brazil. Well, it's virtual because of, the pandemic, but it's typically held in Brazil. It's usually, it's basically like their Comic-Con, and DC has literally, Warner Brothers, had a 6 hour block. A 6 fucking hour block. I mean, I know that Warner owns a lot of shit now, because they're under the AT&T umbrella, but the 6 hours seems excessive. But there's going to be a Suicide Squad panel, Wonder Woman's more shit. This particular article is about early critic reactions to the Wonder Woman film coming out. And I thought it would be nice just to gloss over them. I don't put a lot of stock in them because if you guys might not recall, but as a huge DC fan, I sure as fuck do. The early critic reactions to BVS were pretty positive. Like the tweets, people were like, oh, blah, 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 just got out. And then the reviews came out and then the film came out. And that was not the case.
There's a lot of bandwagoning, though. People hated it because everyone told them they should hate it.
That's true. I mean, there definitely was bandwagoning there. I mean, there's also a lot wrong with it, but there was definitely a lot of bandwagoning. The people were definitely piling on. If you look at like BVS versus like scores of other superhero movies like Wolverine Origins, X-Men, Wolverine Origins, like which one do you think?
Even just the Wolverine was fucking terrible. Like Logan is the only good one he's been in besides.
But Logan is so good though.
Yeah,
Logan is incredible.
Logan was
always forgiven after Logan.
He's always been good as Wolverine, but the movies he's been in,
it's just the movie around him that's just rotten fucking cheese sometimes.
Yeah, like I did enjoy Days of Future Past. I did enjoy, but even that you're just like you fucked up everything. Like this is supposed to be Age of Apocalypse. What are you doing?
So the early tweets look pretty good. By all accounts, and I'm not going to read through a bunch of them, but by all accounts, it looks that if you enjoyed the tone of the first one, if you enjoyed sort of the like aspirational, heart, hope, that kind of cheesy, over the top superheroine sort of sentiment, that this one will deliver that. It'll show her saving people, Scott. I didn't forget.
All you need to know about this movie is that the invisible jet's going to be in it. So
that's sweet.
Is it though? I mean,
yeah. Temper your expectations just a little bit.
It's one of those things where you hear it, and my initial reaction is go, "Oh, really?" And then I think about it. I'm like, "Man, that's kind of fucking stupid."
But like, truth be told, like if she opens the cockpit, you just see her disembodied head floating through. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'm about that life. Or is it the other way? Is it that cheesy side thing where you see her just kind of like sitting?
That's how they do it
in the air.
Yeah, it's not an invisible jet if we can see you sitting there, bitch. Like,
what if her whole career she didn't know other people could see her, and they were so embarrassed for her that they never mentioned it. So she's like this whole time
she's in there like picking her nose and eating it and shit. Singing Mariah Carey songs, like all animated with her hand motions. People are like, what the fuck's wrong? You ever roll next to somebody at a stoplight to do something so disgusting that you get uncomfortable for them and they don't even know you're watching them?
Shit. So the early sentiments seem to be that it's a good film. We'll see if that turns out to be true. I have such battered expectations for DC films that if it's even at like a 60 to 70 Rotten Tomatoes, like more good than not, I'll be happy with it. Like, just be a dumb blockbuster, do some cool shit in it. Don't be overly corny or overly cliche, and I'll probably be pretty excited about it. But it
seems like from those reviews, like people are saying like it's a little cheese, but it kind of knows that it's cheese. And I think that that's a really important distinction. Like when a movie is cheesy and it's trying to be serious, that's when it's unbearable. Yeah, but if a movie is cheesy and it kind of like knows it is and it uses that as like a tool, it's infinitely more enjoyable. So I think as long as they like knowingly were leaning into that, I think it'll work out.
As long as that tweet is accurate, in other words, basically, because one of them had mentioned that they were like, if you thought the No Man's Land scene in the first film was powerful, if you liked that symbolism, then there was another scene in this film that was like even better. And I was like, well, first off, how? Because that scene was actually pretty good. But we'll see. I
actually watched the first one only one time in theaters, and I'm gonna watch it again before this one comes out. But I liked it. I actually thought it was really good. Like I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be dog shit, and I actually really enjoed it. So
I think I watched it like twice.
The first one is a little. No, you're good. The first one is a little long-winded though. Like it is, and people have been saying that this one's really long. Like Pedro Pascal is incredible. Kristen Wiig's transformation is really interesting, but they're also saying like it's. Like you're gonna need like Derek, you're definitely gonna need multiple potty breaks. You're lucky that it's playing at home where you can pause it.
Thank you, HBO Max.
Best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah,
HBO Max chills, boys.
Well, that actually leads us right into our next topic, which was the huge fucking bombshell. I really do feel like they're secretly paying me, and I don't even know it. Like somehow I've been they've implanted a chip in my brain that tells me to mention HBO Max every time we have a fucking podcast, because we have talked about them quite a bit. But they just dropped some huge fucking news. Warner Brothers announced that they will be releasing all of their 2021 films on HBO Max and theaters simultaneously, and not charging any additional money in HBO Max. So before I let you guys go, the thing that surprises me most about this is not that they're doing this, because let's be real, like the industry is changing and there's nothing holding movies back from being available to stream. Like the surprising part to me is that they are already saying right now, it's December 2020, that they're not charging more for HBO Max. I was surprised that they mentioned that. I thought they would have, if nothing else, not mentioned it. So if later on they realized they were losing a bunch of fucking money, they could go, oh, by the way, there's a Premier Access thing to get the rest of these movies. That was, I would actually say, like, startling to me. I was like, okay. You actually said in that press release you're not charging more for all next year? Okay.
Like movies that haven't even wrapped shooting yet, they're already telling them how they're going to be on there for no extra charge.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, we're talking all of their films, and we're not just talking some of the stupid ones like Tom and Jerry and Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't even know what that is. That could be great. I have no idea. Denzel Washington's in it, so cool.
Well, Derek hates Denzel Washington, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Just for his acting. Just that's the only reason.
Oh, okay.
That's it. It begins and ends there. That's the only reason.
Fair. That's fair. But we're talking films like Dune, The Suicide, which we all thought the trailer was meh, I guess. I guess you guys didn't really like it, right? But I thought it looked kind of interesting.
But now I'll actually watch it, so...
You already have it. They're already... The new Conjuring film, The Devil Made Me Do It. They're making a new Space Jam film, a new Legacy. But
wait. Wasn't that supposed to be with Kobe Bryant?
Well, it's not now, I can tell you that much.
I mean, Chris's face there when you said that. No, but
I don't think it was with Kobe Bryant. I can't remember who it was. I don't follow basketball enough, but Chris will be a basketball coach one day, but he might be able to tell us.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Kobe Bryant though.
Okay.
But I also don't believe that they're not going to increase the price of HBO Max. I don't believe that for a fucking instant. I think that like not doing that would and by the way, like AMC is already talking about like suing. I don't know if it was HBO Max or Warner Brothers or what, but like they're not happy that they're doing that because they're essentially drawing what little people they have, that's how they see it anyway. What little people they have that would show up for those movies, they're drawing, let's just say 50% of them away. So they're like forming some lawsuit against them.
Yeah.
So I think that to compensate for those kind of things, they are 100% going to increase the price of it. And I think that they're going to sell it as like, oh, it's only for this year, guys, don't worry. And then at the end of the year, they're going to 100% just keep it that price without all those extra benefits of like theatrical releases being on the app. That's my very cynical, very pessimistic prediction for how this is going to go down.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing that we can all really just look forward to is that The Matrix 4 is available on HBO Max.
Of course.
Who's letting them do that?
Does this mean we have to sit through 3 more of these things now, though? You know what I mean? Like are they going to make another trilogy? Because, The Matrix, I thought the ending was lackluster. Like, oh, this is just an infinite loop that's going to happen forever. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's 8 hours of your life you'll never get back. Eat shit, suck a dick. And you're like, all right, well, at least the special effects were kind of cool. But what was up with those albino twins?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Those white guys with dreads. Every time there's a white guy with dreads on screen, I just want to break my Vizio so fucking bad. I hate it.
Every time I see white guys with dreads now, I think of Andy Samberg doing the Rastafari thing.
This is one of the many reasons I'll never go to a Dave Matthews concert, and why is it in my house now? I mean,
I was going to say, worse than on your screen is when they're just right in front of you, telling you how to live your life and do more yoga.
Oh, yeah, then you can smell them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't...
Like them and the dreads. You can smell both of those things.
I'm sorry, fam. I don't take advice from anybody who doesn't wipe their ass every time they shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's a must for me. If you're gonna be my life coach, I need to buy some wet naps right now, friend. You know what I mean? like right now. Just dab it under the armpits, once around the balls, and then back through the crack, like right under there. I'm sorry.
The whole description for the podcast this week is going to be Scott gives instructions on how to properly wipe your ass.
You would think that a grown man wouldn't need it, but if you've ever been around a wook, like in a guitar center somewhere, he like shuffles over next to the 7 strings to like stare at him for 25 minutes.
Yeah, there's clearly only like a bi-monthly ass washing with those kind of people. Like they don't think it's necessary to do every time they're in the shower.
You can smell them from like an aisle and a half away in Guitar Center, and there's always like 8 of them in Guitar Center. I don't know if they work there or live there or what, but there's always at least a minimum of like 4 white guys with dreads in every Guitar Center I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to cap off this news that now quickly got derailed by white guys with dreads.
Like they always do, those motherfuckers, every time. Right?
How do we even get to that? The Matrix.
The Matrix. Well, I'm telling you, here at the Cynical Nerd, we know how to thread the needle, boys. It's worth noting before we shift to the next subject that Warner Brothers has also made it clear that this is only a 2021 solution. They want this in place for the 2021 releases so that people do not feel pressured to go to a movie theater when we're in the middle of a pandemic. And for that alone, I would say good job, because we're actually sitting here arguing about how we're concerned Warner Brothers is going to lose a bunch of money. And the company is making a decision that we should all applaud. And we all do applaud it. Don't get me wrong. But it feels strange. It's almost like, what's the catch? Like, what are you guys playing at? Did I unknowingly stumble into a contract?
I think
so. That's what I mean. I'm very happy in the short term. But I think that it's going to have like really long-lasting ramifications on the movie-going industry itself. That's my only concern. But I guess that's what comes second. I mean, this is clearly happening. Unless whatever this lawsuit is results in them sort of peeling back, I guess we'll just have to see.
I think they do stand to lose a lot of money doing it this way. Like I would have happily, for most of those releases, paid like $10 to $15 a piece to rent them on demand. But it's one of those things where I think if Warner Brothers does lose money on this endeavor, which is made totally in good faith, like they're trying to make sure people can see their movies. They know that people don't have a lot of media to, really enjoy right now.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where if they do get into a shitty position because of this, we need to back them up and see whatever dog shit they put out as a thank you, honestly. Because like no one else is doing this. They're kind of like leading the way. They're doing what Disney should have done with some of their other movies a year ago almost, or 9 months ago.
Right.
Like we made jokes about them postponing Black Widow. It's a filler movie we've now waited a year and a half to 2 years to see. You know, it's releasing a year after it was supposed to, and nobody even cared last May. You know what I mean?
Let me just reiterate, because I have, me being the optimistic one, have so much hatred for this film, and I haven't seen it. And look, by all accounts, it may come out and be very good.
Not good.
I don't think so, but it very well could be, or at least it could be just a popcorn enjoyment film. But I could not give a shit less about a character that we have seen fleshed out in countless Marvel films to date. Like, sure, I don't know everything that's ever happened to her in her entire life, and maybe the story of what's going to be told in this film is interesting, but we've seen her character arc for years, and I don't give a like. You're talking about delaying a picture to fill in backstory for a character that has had backstory and character just throughout every other Marvel film.
Yeah,
like
and she's fucking dead. So who gives a shit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's done now. We know how it ends.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna be reading my great grandfather's Civil War diaries or World War II diaries. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit. Like, I know how it's. We talked about before. Like, we know how it ends. Like, no one's a diehard Black. Well, someone is, but diehard Black Widow fans.
Someone is.
Yeah, like
just
like
literally one person out there. Only
There's
one.
If you're listening to this podcast, fuck you.
Well, but that's
you're
the
getting
thing.
thrown
Like,
in with the weebs.
I need to make it clear that I'm not. It's not that I don't like her because she's a woman. She's a badass character. Yes,
absolutely.
But I have about the same level of interest in seeing her backstory fleshed out further as I do for Clint Barton. I don't give a fuck. They are C-listers put in there with A-listers to fill fucking slots because they don't have the property. They didn't have the properties to all the X-Men at the time. That's why we had Black Widow and fucking Hawkeye, and they were in the Avengers canonically. I understand, but they're not. You think if they could have got fucking Wolverine in there or Spider-Man, they wouldn't have done that by now? Well, I mean, they did with Spider-Man. Yeah, you get my fucking point.
Yeah, but Hawkeye's like the everyman, man. He doesn't have any powers, man.
Yeah.
Fuck Hawkeye. I hate Hawkeye so fucking much that I banned his name in my Twitch channel. You cannot type the word Hawkeye in chat.
And the thing is, like, even Bullseye. Remember that horrible fucking the Daredevil villain? He had like the fucking thing carved into his forehead.
Dr. Manhattan symbol, yeah. Yeah,
at least Bullseye never misses. Hawkeye isn't even like, he's not even like, I never miss. He's just like, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm alright. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
this one explodes when I shoot it.
Yeah.
I had like a bunch of ribbons from winning archery competitions when I was a kid. Trust me.
My superpower is that I can hit a bullseye. This is my itis arrow. It makes you real sleepy. Watch out for that one.
His like resume, his application to the Avengers was like his blue ribbons from a child.
yeah.
All and like two of them were runner-up too.
4-H archery ribbons.
Tony, I won my 4th, 5th, and 6th grade archery competitions. 7th was only 2nd place. 7th was only 2nd place.
Yeah, I was part of the 4-H organization for 20 years, Tony. I can also milk a cow if that helps. I don't think that would, but I can.
The last thing I want to say, I know we're trying to move on. The last thing I want to say about this HBO Max, Warner Brothers releasing everything on HBO Max is this. Concerning the AMC lawsuit, I actually hate the fact that they're kind of whining to the point where they want to sue someone over this when we're not talking about like a local theater. This is a mega corporation. Like they have the infrastructure. They could make the decision to just make an app that, if you pay this amount of money, you can watch a movie, a theatrical released movie at home over a period of 2 days or something. And I would happily download that app. I would happily pay the money to keep that industry alive so that when this is all over, I can have that regular movie going experience again. But they don't want to do that. They just want people to risk it and show up. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So when you have like a company that has the fucking money and has the infrastructure to do this, and they just choose not to, and they just want to sue someone else over, their decision to find their own solution, it's just like, all right, well, I just kind of lost a lot of respect for you.
Yeah. It's adapt and overcome or die.
Yeah.
Like literally, like how many small businesses have gone under because of this? Because of government mandate, they couldn't even open their doors.
Yeah.
While bigger corporations have been allowed to remain essential and remain open. How many small mom and pop grocery stores? Like it's.
Yeah, and they didn't have the choice. That's the distinction.
The distinction is people who have worked their entire lives to start something for themselves have now lost that in a matter of 9 months with no control of the situation. These guys have the means to do something about it, to affect change and revolutionize their industry in a way that makes them a viable contender still. But the problem is they're not doing that. So WB's going around. They're going around them to HBO Max that's willing to do that. Willing to provide that service.
I mean, the lawsuit does kind of it actually angers me when I think about it, and I know we've been spending a lot of time on this, partially because of the tangents, but because it's kind of a big industry move. And when I read the lawsuit, and much like Derek said, I was like, what ground do you have to stand on? That's not your company. Yeah. They're doing what they want with their properties, and you're bitching because. Look, like we never knew how long this was going to last for, right? So, but instead of taking the opportunity to reinvent yourself or make an app like you were talking about to offer people new ways to give you their money, you just hunkered down and crossed your fingers and took government money and hoped that things would pass quickly enough so that things could go back to normal as opposed to you evolving and moving forward. And now that it looks like you're fucked because you didn't do that, you're trying to sue another company who has no real obligation to you besides the fact that you have a mutual relationship because you're both you peddle the shit that they make. Yeah. Like
peddle's the right word too. $20 a ticket, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, well, we know you're. I would love to go to a movie theater and get some delicious food if they weren't all $20 a piece for like $20 for like a fucking hot dog and a bun that's like 3 sizes smaller than what I would buy in the grocery store.
Yeah, and also Wawa hot dog. You ever seen that, that last 7-Eleven hot dog? You're like, who's gonna eat that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're drunk, you do. You're the one who eats that.
Have you ever seen like the last taquito spinning? You're like, you try to imagine what the person who's going to buy that and eat it looks like, and like what
I've
the rest
never
of their,
played that game, but now I will.
What the rest of their day is gonna be like? Like, when will the violent diarrhea strike? What will they be doing? What do they do for a living? They don't have a job. What am I talking about? They're gonna be at home reading a comic book on the toilet already, and just be, oh, there it is.
And it's gonna come out just the way it went in, whole.
If you're eating that 4:30 a.m. Buffalo chicken taquito from 7-Eleven, you don't have any moral obligations. To society. You don't have any real responsibilities. Clearly,
you just have to put bets on how dirty the inside of their microwave is. It's pretty much about.
Oh god, we're talking idle hands, post hand microwave.
Oh, good reference.
Yeah.
You pulled that out of nowhere.
Yeah. Reaching back a little bit there. That was good.
Idle hands reference.
Where Seth Green puts the burrito. He's like burrito. I'll fucking dance. Dude, Idle Hands would have been a perfect Halloween movie to watch. Fuck.
Yeah.
we can still watch it just because we want to. I actually, so just so you guys know, everyone listening, and I know it's a weird place to take a little break, but we have had a Patreon account, and then we had a conversation. We had one patron. Thank you, Fids.
Thanks, Fids. We love you, Fids.
We got $5 from you, although I did send it back to you because that's not right. We started off with watch-alongs, and the watch-alongs we had a fantastic time doing, and they were very fun. But one person had access to them, and we're a new channel. This is episode 11. We want people to be able to see our content. Otherwise, we can't grow the audience. So those watch-alongs are going to be released on YouTube. Now, just keep in mind, they were recorded a couple of weeks ago. In some cases, more than a month ago. I think both of them at this point have been.
Yeah.
Because it's December and time doesn't matter because of the pandemic. But we're going to be putting them out, and we're going to continue to do more of those and put them up on YouTube in the future. So, I mean, I guess I'll just take a minute because we're about 40 minutes in and just say, hey, Facebook.com/cynicalnerd. You can check us out on Twitch and Twitter. We're doing co-streams together. We are the Schmeg Nerd on Twitter. We're trying to post funny things, but we keep forgetting to actually post funny things.
We just keep sending them to each other on a personal level instead of like.
That's really what we should do. Like all of your memes, all the shit posting memes, just fucking Twitter account. Yeah, 100% okay with that. Like if that's all the content that it ever puts out, I'm totally fine with that. And then
where the line is because there's some stuff I send to group chat that I wouldn't say to anyone else.
We just got to dive in sometimes, figure it out, sink or swim.
Like the Tom Hanks, Belle Delphine.
Yeah,
no, that's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah. Episode 10. But if you want to ask us a question, it's #AskTCN. You can email us at questions@thecynicalnerd.com. And we're doing co-streams currently Wednesday nights, 8:30, 9 p.m. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. So I'm going to move along from that Warner Brothers article. Yeah, the next one, we spent way more time on it than I thought. Yeah. It was good fodder for fucking tangents. Yeah. The next one in the pipeline is BioWare, and doesn't sound very good. BioWare has announced the departure of the lead of the Anthem. Has announced 2 departures for Casey Hudson and Mark Dara, and now the person who was in charge of the Anthem reboot, whose name was Christian Daly, is being put in charge of the new Dragon Age game. And it sounds like there's a bunch of upheaval going on in BioWare. So really quick before I tag in Derek to start off, Casey Hudson, widely known as the guy who was at BioWare for a long time. He was the head of a lot of great games, right? Like Casey Hudson, he was the guy in charge of does he do Dragon Age originally? Or was Casey Hudson Mass Effect?
I all I know is that he did the original Mass Effect trilogy. Like he was
that's okay. That's what I was thinking of. He left and then came back and is now leaving again. Mark Dara, I don't know what he was in charge of, but I mean, this is not great news. Besides your thoughts on Anthem, I mean, having someone like besides your thoughts on Anthem, like having Hudson leave, I don't know what Mark Dara has done. I know he's the one who was in charge of Dragon Age, and now it's not. Hudson was really widely respected in the industry, and him coming back to BioWare after they did Andromeda seemed like a really positive thing for the studio. And now, I don't know. Derek, how'd you parse this?
So frankly, I don't have a whole lot of stock in Mass Effect. Like I said, I'm waiting for the Legendary Edition to play through them like in its entirety. For the first time, I played through 1 years ago, 2 years ago, and I played the first half of 3. I don't know, probably 10 times, and like something always popped up, and I never finished it. My beautiful, wonderful girlfriend though is probably the biggest Mass Effect fan that has ever lived. And my understanding is that like Casey Hudson leaving the team is why a lot of fans attribute Andromeda to being as poorly received as it was.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though they fixed a lot of the bugs in it, apparently the story just didn't hit the way that the original trilogy did. And I can speak for, I don't remember specifics, but I remember things about what I played of them being really good, like really memorable moments. And my understanding is that Andromeda really doesn't have any of those. And so him coming back was like this shining beacon of hope in this like, awful fucking fate that the series has suffered. And now him leaving, they're basically all like, all right, so there's really no reason to even play the one that they're working on now. Like a lot of them are sort of abandoning ship. I think for the remakes or remasters that they're doing, rather, the story's already written. It's already made. I'm not too worried about them personally. Obviously, like they could still fuck it up. I mean, we've seen underwhelming remasters in the past, but I'm not personally too worried about that. But him leaving, based on her word and the word of other people, other fans of the series, I think that you can kind of count on the next Mass Effect game to not be so great now that he's departed. Yeah. As far as what's his name leaving Dragon Age, I have no stock in that whatsoever. I don't know a lot about Dragon Age. I played the first one. It was okay. I tried to play the third one, but something just never quite clicked with me. And lastly, Anthem, there's no reason for me to ever believe that is going to amount to anything whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And so I basically think that BioWare must have made a bunch of really fucking bad decisions, and they probably have extremely dark days ahead of them, because essentially the people like the last standing like bastions of creators that their fans liked are now gone. So I think some bad stuff is going to follow this. That's about it.
Yeah. Scott, how about you?
I mean, first off, I have to do the, obligatory shitting on Anthem. It's fucking awful. But putting
a boring game.
Yeah, like what a boring, pointless slog. Like somehow you took everything that was actually fun about Destiny and sucked the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it was stylized very well. The world was beautiful, but there's this gorgeous world in front of you, and nothing you do in it is any fun at all. So to me, putting the guy, like putting Christian Daly, the guy in charge of the reboot, in charge of an even larger property, like they need to frame him for murder and put him in prison. Like he needs to be taken out of the equation. There's no fucking point.
Frame him for murder and put him in prison.
Yeah. Like I hope somebody frames it. Like honestly though, like I don't really have an invested interest in anything that they put out. If I'm being entirely honest, like the Dragon Age games are so massive and overwhelming, but at the same time underwhelming in a lot of ways for me.
Yeah, they're bloated.
Yeah, there's too much, and like the thing is, Mass Effect is the remaster is the one thing I'm really interested in because, I like I said before, I never managed to get through them. I've heard great things. I'm sure that if it was, updated and the controls were reworked a little bit, I'd probably enjoy it. But there's also a 50-50 chance that I'll get this remaster and not get into it either. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to give a shit, but at the same time, I could imagine if this was a franchise that I was really passionate about watching this happen, I'd be in full panic mode. And you just gotta wonder, like what, like Derek said, like what have they done to drive these people away? What internal decisions are going on that these creators are saying that the outside world isn't saying, that's having them jump ship? You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
Yeah.
It's very telling when you see shifts like this where it's not just one guy. One guy walked away, came back, and then he left again, and his boy left with him. Like Casey and Mark are gone. I don't know who the fuck they are aside from the projects they worked on, but
yeah.
It's reminiscent of like Halo Infinite losing 2 directors so far. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
something has to be going really fucking wrong for 2 people to leave,
Yeah. But
it is certainly telling, because it's like you have to imagine Casey, being the director for the original Mass Effect trilogy, must have a ton of love for the property. So for him to come back, it's like, he really loved it, wanted to come back to the studio he kind of matured at and came into his own.
helped
and then
build, honestly.
Right, and then to leave it, like like you said, Dark Days are ahead. Like they've already happened. We just don't know about them yet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find out somewhere down the road. Someone's gonna do like a fucking documentary about the fall of BioWare.
Well, I think this is something we're seeing in the gaming community as a whole, because over the last, let's say 15 years or so, gaming has become like this huge enterprise. This huge, it's the money that these companies are making on their games, like over their life cycles of the consoles. Like, off of a single title, they could be making hundreds of millions of dollars, whereas before it might have been like maxing out at like 80 million, total revenue sold for a blockbuster AAA title. So what we're seeing is an industry where it's becoming way more profitable, and these companies are getting greedier, or their executives are getting greedier and forcing them to push content out quickly.
Right.
And not every studio can turn around a new Assassin's Creed game every year, or a new Call of Duty every year that's going to be something that the fan base is content with. And even we've seen blunders with those companies like Ubisoft and fucking yeah, you're not wrong. But it comes down to greed, man. Like money tends to ruin everything. Like games back in the day were, like we talked about before, like they pushed back Smash for like a year at one point. Games came out when they were finished. Games came out when they when they were complete, when they had a concise narrative, when the controls worked, when everything was tested through and through and solid. And now, like, we see more and more often games released glitchy because they're just in a rush to make money. So there's a good chance that someone who helped build this franchise didn't like seeing it being treated like a cash cow, or seeing it mistreated or misrepresented, and just bowed out.
But that's what I mean. Like the sort of like the success of video games since we were kids, for instance, is kind of like has been its downfall, because like when we were kids, there was like the Nintendo headquarters, Sega headquarters. It was like this one singular location that everything kind of got churned out at. Now you have basically like a company like Ubisoft that, you had mentioned they're putting out an Assassin's Creed game every single year. Well, it's not the same studio doing it. They have like this studio working on this one, while next year's they've been working on it for this amount of time.
Oh yeah,
They're doing really shitty things. Like, okay, so once this game comes out, they overwork that, those people working there. And once, let's just say, Black Flag comes out, they go like, all right, we're shutting you guys down now. Like, thanks for the finished product, but we churned the money out of you. So now we're selling all those assets and moving on to another one. And it's just kind of like, I think that those are the really shady and shitty inner workings that like we as people who just play the games don't see, like we're not exposed to, but it's like very, very fucking overrun with awful business like that. It's becoming a really shitty industry to work in.
Yeah, well, you also have the same thing with Activision. They have Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and there's one other studio that are they're all on a 3-year cycle, where every 3 years one of those companies releases a new Call of Duty. So like they get done a 3-year cycle of coding and scripting and doing all this like design and everything, and they don't even get time off. They have to go right back to the grindstone because they have 3 years to turn out another game. Yeah, and they also have 2 other companies that are literally their direct competition. Everyone's comparing these 3 companies and their Call of Duty entries. You know what I mean? So it's a weird model that keeps studios on their toes and competitive, but at the same time treats them like just mindless drones in a lot of ways. You know. So I don't know what the climate's like, you know, at BioWare, but I don't know, it doesn't look good when you have.
It's not looking good. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I agree. All right. So moving on. In relation to a video game property, this doesn't really translate as a segue, but this is going to be a hot topic, boys. And I'm not talking about that shitty store in the mall that you used to see big old Pierce Scott titties at.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the fact that Oscar Isaac has been rumored to be cast as Solid Snake. How do you guys feel about that?
I can't wait to hear what Derek has to say about this. I could just tell from all his memes this week.
Solid Snake, voiced by David Hayter, beloved franchise on the Sony platform. I have lots of fond memories of several of those games, and boy, oh boy, I don't know.
They should just cast fat old David Hayter. I'll do the rest in my mind.
Is he
okay
fat?
with
I've
it.
never seen him.
He's got a little chunk as he's aging. He's a little chunk.
Let me pull him up while you start talking shit.
He was in a couple films. He was in that Guyver anime remake.
Oh, he looks not like I expected. Weird.
Yeah, no,
Okay, going back.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, I'm not into this at all. He's a great actor. He really is.
Yeah, we all love Oscar Isaac.
He's excellent. And not just in the blockbusters he's in. Like we've talked about Ex Machina before. Yeah. He's fucking incredible in that movie. He's so like present. He's such a force in that fucking movie. Like you're genuinely terrified. You genuinely, as the viewer, have no idea what he's going to do next because he just acts that part so fucking well.
I know what he's going to do next.
Genius.
He's going to come into a robot. Sorry, continue.
Did we have a conversation about fucking robots before?
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think at one point I was like, I was like, damn well if you could, you'd make a robot and fuck it. I think your response, Scott, was, I'm not smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Derek.
But I don't think he's going to make a good Solid Snake. I think he's too sweet in most of the movies that he's in for me to like see him as like a rugged, you know, I don't know. It's just not doing it for me.
Question. Who would you have rather seen casted?
Easy. Tom Holland.
Fuck you.
Metal Gear. Lale Lule Low.
Oh my
disingenuous son of a bitch.
I don't feel so good, Miss Naomi.
Yo,
shit.
No fucking way.
No, you know who would make a great Solid Snake is fucking Josh Brolin. I think he would do excellently in that fucking role.
He's a little too old, a little too
bit. Little bit.
He's too jacked though too. Like Snake wasn't like he wasn't scrawny. Yeah, he was like you know, he definitely did some cardio. You know what I mean? Josh Brolin. When you saw Josh Brolin as Cable, you're like where the fuck did his neck go?
All right, so let's say a de-aged by 15 years Josh Brolin, I think would be
we're talking like no Country for Old Men Brolin?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay. That's perfect.
Bad. I could see that.
That's not bad.
All right, worst possible casting though. Can we talk about who would be the worst? Because like
yeah, sure. From, Oscar Isaac, easy.
No fucking way.
I'm just kidding.
There's no way. I mean, as much as I love Tom Holland, that's pretty bad casting.
John Cena would probably be worse than Tom Holland, if we're gonna be honest.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah, because like John Cena like doesn't even turn his necklace; he turns his whole body. I mean, he's always like
he's all shoulders.
Yeah, like how's he gonna check around the corner? He's gonna have to lean out like fucking solid beef wall, man.
To the point where it's gonna look like someone just has a cardboard cutout of John Cena that they're leaning out.
Yeah, exactly. The question is though, with a property like this, like of course it's not gonna hold up. Like I think inarguably the only video game movie that's ever held up to the games is the original Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's plenty cheese, but think about how well that movie represents the games. It not only is accurate to what the game portrays, like as far as like all the characters, all the scenarios. You even see like the scenery in that movie is all different levels from the original Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 and 3. But it also builds on the lore. The lore in the video games following the movie was based on the lore in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they added, they made it better with a movie, and that never fucking happens.
Well, let's be real. That's because the game had so little. The whole premise of the game was to get these cool looking characters to fight each other. So the game's lore was so non-existent that the movie had only to fail upwards. Like they had nothing. I
feel like you're simplifying it. You're greatly simplifying it.
I agree with you. There was nothing there. You just fight different people with different.
Am I simplifying the conflict between Earth?
When's the last time you played Mortal Kombat 1, 2, or 3?
It's been a long time.
It's been
wow. Oh god, I hate
you. Oh no, god damn.
I'm not sorry for that. Continue.
No, you win. I lost my train of thought. I got nothing.
Look, Mortal Kombat though, it's so cheesy, but that is a great movie, and I'm gonna watch it like really soon. Now that you mentioned it, and just put it back
Goro
on my
looks
radar.
Great in that movie.
Yeah.
And practical effects were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean the CGI doesn't hold up as well, but there is one scene though where it's like the very beginning, like when Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya sneak into like this giant feast. And Sub-Zero fights like a random dude and just like freezes a mid jump kick, and the guy hits the wall and explodes. Like the gore they got away with in that movie at PG-13 was so great,
incredible.
And bringing this back around full circle, Mortal Kombat is one of the WB movies on the slate to be released in 2021 on HBO Max.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, I didn't even know they were making one. So yeah, cool.
There's also a Mortal Kombat YouTube series that was like rated R that was really fucking cool, like a TVMA. I'm pretty sure they're bringing back the guy who played Liu Kang to play Shang Tsung in this new one.
Oh, that's a cool touch.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
The original Liu Kang. It was a rumor. I haven't IMDb'd it, but that would make me so happy.
Although, let's be real, the guy who played Shang Tsung originally was so choice.
Oh, dude, he was fucking great. Yeah,
money.
He was excellent.
Over the top, slight villainous cheese.
Your
so
soul
good.
is mine. Like, oh my god!
Oh, I can't wait to watch it now. Holy shit!
You can feel his hot, stinky breath on your face as an 8-year-old. Like, oh god!
Yeah, you can feel his nose hairs wiggling around as he's.
It
breathing.
smells like Brussels sprouts. I don't like it. Do we have any more shitting on this casting announcement?
I'm optimistic about it simply because Oscar Isaac is an incredible actor. I think we haven't seen him take on any role like this yet. Like. The closest one we got was that movie with him and what is it? Annihilation, where he plays he plays a special ops guy. Him and Natalie Portman.
He was in that.
Yeah, and he was great in it, but he wasn't in it very much.
I didn't forget about Natalie Portman.
No, you can't, man. You never.
Unforgettable.
Yeah, you guys remember Natalie Portman in Your Highness, where she comes out of the water?
Oh yeah.
Got cheeks for weeks.
Them buttocks.
Yeah,
cheeks for weeks.
Cheeks for weeks.
No, but there's one way this
cheeks.
The problem is, with the games, they took the Die Hard formula and made all of the insurgents way more fucking interesting. So right, but the Die Hard formula doesn't work with characters that flushed out unless it's 8 to 12 hours long. So with this, they're gonna have to. They're like, if they do a remaking of the Shadow Moses incident. With Fox, like it's going to be bad because it's going to be another one of those things where it should have been a series, should have been a season of something on TV, a limited series. Yeah. If they do a completely new story that maybe takes place between Shadow Moses and Sons of Liberty, like that could be cool. I think the best way for them to do it is for it to be self-contained stories that maybe reference things from the games and have like nods to it. But don't try to remake it, man, because Psycho Mantis worked as a video game villain. Revolver Ocelot worked as a video game villain, but to see that guy in real life spinning his guns, you're just gonna fucking roll your eyes. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't translate well. They need to make it more. I don't know. They either need to lean into the cheese and go like full like Kung Fu Hustle style with it, or they need to. That's
what. So that's what we were talking about earlier. I think that when you embrace the cheese, which that's what Kojima does, and he does it well. Like he doesn't hide the fact that he does cheesy, campy shit. It's like that's his forte. That's what he's good at.
Yeah.
And when it's done in a way that like you, the gamer, or you, the viewer, it's clear that that's what they're going for. You don't feel insulted by it, and then you can enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. My final thoughts on this. This is such a near and dear series, beloved to me, and so there's never going to be like a perfect person cast as Snake, other than David Hayter. I'll do it. I don't mind. I'll pretend in my head that he's fit. It's okay.
I mind. I'll pretend in my head that he's fit. He's sneaking around. His belly's rubbing into the barbed wire fences.
He's like,
why don't you just get Dog the Bounty Hunter to play him, Derek?
Yes.
I'm never going to be happy with who they cast. And so that means that, like, honestly, at least they're getting a really fucking talented actor to do it and not some shithole. So in the end, I'm not actually too unhappy with it. I just like to talk shit on things, guys. You know, that's what I do.
Dog is God spelled backwards. This just in, Hideo Kojima's next film is about a guy who can't get out of bed. It's called Can't Get Out of Bed Man. And it's coming straight to HBO Max.
Yeah.
All the subtleties right on the poster for it.
Die Hard, but I still can't get past. I'm like, oh, man.
Die Hard Man. I wonder if he dies.
Dead Man and Die Hard Man.
And Heartman. Don't forget Heartman.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get that far because Die Hard Man turned you off too hard.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised that Heartman exists.
Yeah. I also, as much as I disagree with, I don't know, this casting announcement, it's a weird one for me because we all like Oscar Isaac, and I want this to be successful. I want it to be good. I just have zero hope that it will be.
Yeah.
Zero expectation that it will be, I should say. I have plenty of hope that it is. I don't know. I also agree with what Scott was saying earlier, which is that it seems like the older I get, the more of the beloved properties that I've grown up with that they're translating into film and TV, I always just want them to be TV now. Because I'm like, no. There's too much there. You can't do that in a movie. Like, you have to make this a TV show. Like, you said Shadow Moses incident as like a miniseries, like a 10-parter or something. Yeah. God, I would just ropes everywhere.
Yeah.
That would be excellent.
I could see.
Because then, like, it's self-contained. You can continue it and tell other stories, but you also don't need to. Because, like, don't get me wrong, all the Metal Gear games are fun for their own reasons, but Metal Gear Solid 1 is the best self-contained story.
It's very good.
Really? Which one? Which one?
Too easy. I don't even have to think about it.
No way.
Two is not self-contained. 2
requires a lot of advanced knowledge, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I would say that first-person mode alone makes 2 better because you can fucking. So you can see that little whoop, and then you can fucking shoot him with the sleeping dart right in the dick.
Oh
yeah. You can hide in his locker, look at his dirty girly magazines.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, but it has like the Shadow Moses incident has the beginning, middle, and end. You learn everything you need to know about Snake through his interactions in that story, and through like the flashbacks and stuff like that. It's also just, it's to me it was the most believable, even though like obviously some of the antagonists are ridiculous.
That's totally fair. Yeah,
it's definitely the most grounded,
over the top. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like two had for the most part was still semi believable, except for like Vamp. You're like, oh, okay, all right. and wasn't there was a fat man in that too? Fat man rolling around roller skates.
Yeah.
It was just a fat guy on like not even rollerblades. He wasn't even like cool. He was just on fucking roller skates.
Yeah.
And he just
with
set
bombs that he just like threw.
yeah, and he set bombs all over the fucking the oil refinery.
Yeah.
I just like that you said. I just like this guy said, "Cool."
Yeah. Well, you know, because when you see a guy with like a mullet and a Capri Sun on rollerblades, like look at that cool guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's fat.
There's a lot of cool guys in this game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool guys here.
Honestly, if you're fat and you can rollerblade, you're probably cooler than somebody who's skinny and can rollerblade. Because like, because if you're fat and you fall down, everyone's gonna laugh. Yeah. But you're not even worried, baby. You're just like
you definitely had to want it more, if nothing else.
You're just too cool to care. Let them laugh. I'm too cool to care.
Too cool to care.
You gotta say like that little head.
I would like to vote in an option for thumbnail for the podcast is John Cena cardboard cutout leaning over a wall as Snake.
Yeah, that feels fair.
Okay. All right, let's move on. We have stuff to talk about. What We Do in the Shadows Season 3 is set to start production in January 2021. There's nothing else in this article that's useful besides that information. It really just allows me to say that I'm going to use a phrase that these two guys love. Boy, howdy. I love this show. Bye, howdy.
We should have like a Chris saying counter, like how many times he says like, welcome, welcome, boy, howdy, oh no.
It's like just a joy.
Every time.
It's just a joy. You know what else was a fucking joy?
When you say joy the same way. You say joy every single time the same way.
Just a joy.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. I wish I could like melt that down in a spoon and just inject it into my veins. That's my feel good medicine.
We've discussed the show previously, I think, very briefly. I don't remember. Have you guys watched all of it? Do you guys like it? Scott, how do you feel about it?
It's one of the funniest shows on TV.
Okay.
One of the best written comedies.
I actually, it's been on my list for a while. I saw, I fucking loved the movie. Oh my God. I can't tell you how much I loved that movie.
So obviously we're not going to spoil anything, but before you say any more, anything else, I put off watching this show for such a long time. And I kept hearing people say, oh, it's just as funny as the movie. Blah. And I kept thinking to myself, no fucking way. Cause that movie is a fucking gem. And it's just, it's amazing. There's no way you can capture that kind of camp comedy, the silliness with also a little bit of heart underneath. And it's the pitch perfect. The show is fucking amazing. It gets better in season 2.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize there were only 2 seasons until I got to the end and was very sad. So
that's the only thing I was going to say. I watched the first episode, maybe 2, and I thought that it was good, but not whoa good. So hearing that, I know some shows try to find their footing. I didn't stop watching it because I thought it was bad or anything, but it was just never a priority. But I keep hearing people talk about it. So I'm it's been on my list for a while, so I'll have to dive into it a little more.
The thing is, these aren't the same characters from the movie, so they spend the first few episodes kind of introducing them.
Yeah.
And once you get, it's like that show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Once you know the characters, everything that they do is hilarious because they're so well written, so consistent.
Right.
But
you just have to show up for it.
Yeah, but they're also all lunatics in their own ways. They all have their own little quirks, and you know what you get to know the characters so well through their little weird You okay, Chris?
I just keep thinking of it was bat.
yeah. I'm obviously a huge fan of the movie. My name's Swearwolf, for fuck's sake.
I was going to say, is that where that has to be where that originated from?
We're werewolves, not swearwolves. I was like, that's my stream name.
It's old.
Yeah, but it's the characters are so well written that you learn their little quirks and stuff, and you find yourself laughing at them, watching their facial expressions because you can imagine what they're thinking even. And this is one of the first shows this weekly episodic. It's kind of shallow. There's a greater narrative that arcs over the whole first 2 seasons, but it's the very sitcom meets reality TV style humor. But they're so characters usually aren't this well flushed out in a comedy series.
Yeah.
With the exception of shows where It's Always Sunny, where the situations are so ridiculous you see them in all these situations you never would see situation comedy in. You know what I mean? It has that same kind of vibe, but with supernatural stuff. It's basically it's vampire. It's Always Sunny, essentially. That's the way I would describe it.
It's so good, dude.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch it 100%. Like I said, it was never oh, this sucks, I'm not really into it. It was just kind of
wait till you
I guess I just waited,
Kona, bro.
I was just gonna fucking say that.
Right?
Oh, dude.
I just waited against the movie a little too much, and I was like, oh, that wasn't the movie, so I'll watch that some other time. And it's just been months of later.
Also, the cameos in this, Derek, are insane.
God damn it, Scott and I are on the same page. I was gonna say
Mark Hamill.
Oh,
what?
Right?
How did you spoil that for me? You're an asshole for this.
Wait,
I was actually
how's a cameo a spoiler?
I lied, not on the same page, because I was literally about to go, don't look anything up about it, because there are some great surprise cameos.
All right, no. They were not surprise cameos. The trailer for the episode literally showed Mark Hamill in the trailer. It's not a surprise if it's special guest Mark Hamill.
All right, fair enough.
No, I'm gonna watch it.
It's like watching TGIF back in the day. I mean, Arsenio Hall was on Urkel. Fucking shocker. It's a sitcom, man. The fucking
sometimes the fucking reference points you pull out of your ass are so good.
It's so time specific too. It's everything is within a 4.5 year period.
Yeah, you can tell it's a child of the 90s. But no, but it's just Urkel was on TGIF this week. It's no shit. They share the same hour of television. I don't know. I'm sorry. If that was a spoiler, I apologize. I am getting defensive.
No.
I hope I didn't ruin it for you.
I'm not watching it.
And before we move on, I just have to say, this is probably Scott's doing, but the title in our doc that we use to share news articles says, "What we do in the shadows, parentheses, masturbate mostly."
End parenthesis.
Close parentheses.
There's always 2 things that give it away when I know that Scott put something in the doc, and one is that the headline is hilarious, and the second one is that the link is usually broken, and I have to figure out how to.
What?
Just Google it, bro.
That's what I do. Yeah.
All the links I post always work for me because I go through right before we start and double check to make sure I have everything ready to go.
Oh, Street Fight, Link versus Broken Link. That doesn't make any sense. All right, we have one piece of news left to go over.
That's that Water Temple midpoint, bro. We're almost halfway done.
Oh, we are. Derek, do you have to take a pee-pee?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. You know what? Why not? Before it becomes more urgent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Water Temple, time to take a little pee-pee.
Speaking of Ocarina of Time.
Do you remember how hard the Water Temple fucked you when you were a child? I feel like the Water Temple from Ocarina of Time should be on a government watch list for how hard it fucked me when I was 12 years old.
For how hard it fucked you?
Yeah, because all right, like we already did our follow us on this. Check us out on that. So we have some time to burn here. There was an extra locked door in that temple, and not enough keys for every door. So if you open up this one door that was it led to a dead end with like a chest with like 50 rupees in it. If you opened that door on like I think it was like level 3 or 4 of the Water Temple when you had the water all the way up.
Yeah.
You might not have enough keys to get to the master key to unlock the boss door and fight that giant water amoeba thing.
I don't remember that. I just remember having memories of hating that temple, so I'm sure that's part of it.
It was the worst. It was modeled after a level from Super Mario 64. I don't know if you remember that. It's when you are you fought Bowser for the second time in the basement. You go up to that never-ending staircase up top. And there's this one level where, Mario did those 3 jumps, like the wah, hoo, yippee, like the little fucking.
I can clip that. Yeah.
Yahoo, woohoo!
That was surprisingly good.
Thank you.
It was very accurate.
Well, depending on whether you did a single jump, a double jump, or that triple woohoo, the water level in this map would be raised to whatever level your jump was when you entered the painting. I
remember that.
Yeah, and they took the same kind of mechanic, but gave you like push switches, which made it like this never-ending, this nightmarish puzzle.
Yeah,
I think being 12, I became a man in the Water Temple. You know what I mean? Like, I did. I
know it's opposites, but the Water Temple was really trial by fire for adulthood.
Yeah. I feel like
sprouted hairs.
Yeah, I feel like me as a grown adult would not be as well adjusted to deal with that. Like, I would get so angry so much faster. You know what I mean? It's imagine like you spent an hour or let's say 45 minutes in traffic coming home from your 8-hour, 10-hour workday, maybe even a 12-hour workday, and now you got to wander around the Water Temple for 45 fucking minutes to find a master key.
Yeah, and then what if you open up? What if you just had a really bad day at work and you come home and you spend 45 minutes in the Water Temple only to realize that you've opened up that shitty door and you have to load an older save and go all the way back through it?
No, the Water Temple is a metaphor for life, Chris. Because when you open up, sometimes you open the wrong door, and there is no going back. There is no reverting to a save state on N64, bro. You are stuck with the decisions you've made, and you can never achieve your ultimate goal, which is to save Hyrule. You open the wrong fucking door.
That's true. If you manually saved, boy.
Yeah, well, no, you can only manually save. This is N64, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There was. I mean,
my only question is, how many people do you think that adult kills after he's had the shitty day at work and then loses his whole fucking game save?
I think in honor of the temple that took everything from him, I think he drowns his wife and his 2 children in the bathtub.
Oh Jesus Christ. Dude,
there's a lady in Iowa that did that, I think.
That's because of the Water Temple?
I wonder if she was playing like the remaster. Remember the GameCube that came out, like the remastered Ocarina time? Ocarina.
Do you think the new Mario Park and Universal Studios Japan is going to have like basically what amounts to a child torture chamber, which is they have to jump to get the water level up to a certain height so they don't drown?
I don't know. I think if you're gonna waterboard somebody in a Mario themed park, it needs to be an underwater themed room, obviously.
Oh right. Oh shit.
I'm thinking. You remember those fish from Super Mario World, the ones that would chase you like all stoked, like they wagging their little butts like a tiny dog?
Yeah.
See, I don't know, man. I feel like Donkey Kong Country always had way scarier enemies.
Especially, 100%.
Especially the underwater levels. Like, you remember Donkey Kong Country 2, of course, the best one out of all of them.
Of course, yeah.
They had the lockjaw, like they look like little piranhas, and they would come up and like eat your little butt.
Yeah.
the sound for their animations when they would bite you sounded like Ace Ventura doing the shadow puppet thing with that guy in Ace Ventura when he should go like,
It's a good time to come back.
Yeah, you missed a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Mostly just talking Nintendo.
Yeah.
I just want to say, every time that Chris, which is we're 2 weeks in a row now, every time Chris asks me, "Do you have to go pee-pee?" It reminds me of like being on a road trip with your parents, like you're going to South Carolina or something. Yeah, and it's like 3 a.m. and your dad wakes you up like, "Hey, bud, gotta go pee-pee." So you're letting me relive that. You're letting me relive my gas station pee-pees from 1994. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's also very telling that he's 100% confirmed going to be the coach of his son's junior.
Yeah, he's constantly reminding people, hey, if anybody has to pee, just tell me. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Guys, yeah. Like one of the kids, like they're staying overnight for like an away basketball game. One of the kids has an accident, and Chris helps him like clean it up and make sure nobody knows. Like, it's okay, bub.
Yeah, it's between me and you. Don't worry.
Yeah. I peed my pants too. It's the coolest.
Yo, I would imagine that today though. Because kids are so much smarter. Like imagine like I'm like oh, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? He pissed his pants too.
Yo, kids are ruthless now. Kids are meaner than any adult.
What are you in a kid substitute teacher? What are you like kids pissing? I can only imagine the terrible conversations. Anyway, we have two main topics to get. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say like that 45-year-old substitute teacher could still be drunk, whip it out, and start pissing on the desk in front of the kids. And they just hold up their smartphones and Snapchat it. Like they would be unfazed by it.
That's true. They'd be like, look at this idiot.
Yeah.
They TikTok it, baby.
Oh, fuck. Plague. We have two main topics to get to today. Right before we do, we have a lead-in, which is just a throwaway piece of news, not much to talk about. It's actually because I forgot it was happening. They are making a show based on Cassian Andor, the gentleman from Rogue One, played by Diego Luna. And they're making a spin-off show of him that obviously takes place before Rogue One because spoilers, he gonna die. That has just begun production. And I only brought this up because I forgot that they were doing this. They announced this quite a bit ago. And I think like May or something, if I'm not mistaken. It was on Lucasfilm, StarWars.com. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I got to be honest with you. When I first heard they were doing a Mandalorian TV show that was not Boba Fett, which is a great segue into our main discussion today, boys. But when I found out they were making a show called The Mandalorian and it was not going to be about Boba Fett, I was like, really? Am I going to give a shit? And then I got progressively more and more excited as I heard Favreau, Filoni were attached and came out. And now it's probably my favorite thing Star Wars has ever done as a whole. This Cassian Andor, he's a cool character. He had a lot of layers to him. He was the guy trying to fight for the right side, but he had to do a lot of bad shit in the film to do it, and it's an interesting place to put him, and I think it could make for a lot of interesting TV. So I'm really looking forward to it. I don't really have much else to add besides fuck yeah, like bring it, give it to me. I want to know who the showrunner is first and foremost, but I'm pretty stoked about it.
I want that grit that the very beginning of Rogue One had. He's like, like that city felt like it was out of like a Tim Burton movie from the 90s. It was like so
good.
Like everything felt dirty and dingy, but like in a way that was way more organic than even like Jabba's palace in Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, like everything had like a lot of personality to it. I would love to see him in a much darker like tone show like that, where he's making the hard decisions and they have real world consequences.
Yeah, the coolest thing about Rogue One to me is, one of the cooler things about Rogue One, I should say, is that they introduced this idea that like these people that we have seen as the good guys for so long actually do some pretty shitty things. Like we saw extremist sects of the rebels, Forrest Whitaker's whole thing. I think the only way they can really make this interesting is to show that there's not this like clear cut sort of objective line in the sand. And that, we see him do shitty things in the beginning of the film. And then he refers to a couple things he does throughout the rest of the film. Like, oh, you have no idea what I've done to get where I am now and yada, yada. Right. Other than that, I think it's going to be pretty boring. Like I'm split on this because, I mean, just earlier tonight, we were talking about how like when you know how things end, it's kind of like you're not so invested in the characters. But then again, that was sort of the whole thing Rogue One did so well, is it made you think that you wouldn't give a shit about anyone. And then you gave a whole lot of a shit about everyone.
All the shits about them. Yeah.
And so really just the only other thing I have to say about it is exactly what you just said, Chris, is that like, I want to say nah, this is going to suck. But I was surprised by The Mandalorian. So, I'll be happy to check it out. That's about it.
Definitely. And I kind of forget about it because it's been a little bit since Rogue One came out, but you're absolutely right. I mean, that was the first time that they said, hey, these rebels, they do some terrible shit to accomplish their goals. And I mean, like you saw Guerrero's partisans were the fucking extremists, and they did really terrible shit in some cases in the name of good.
Yeah,
I don't know. It made things not sit so well, and it kind of made the whole universe that much more believable, because things that are so black and white are most often, paper thin. And also, that's the most clever thing I'll say all night. So I just disconnect now.
I think it's important to differentiate, though, like that the bad things they were doing was not like, because let's be real here. The stormtroopers, the Empire is representative of like not like a Nazi-esque sort of totality. Like it's.
Oh, that's exactly who Lucas was going for.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It's not subtle in any way, shape, or form. Everything's very like on the nose. So like, seeing rebels using guerrilla tactics to kill stormtroopers and kill people who are working for the Imperial forces, I don't think that's morally a gray area. I think the moral gray area is where you see casualties and collateral damage caused by things like that. When we see the first test of the Death Star, and that obviously the Empire is at fault. All the people who died on that part of the planet there, it's because the Empire did something terrible. But also, it kind of like you look at how extreme the rebel attacks were there, and you think if they weren't, I don't know.
I see what you're saying, but
it's cause and effect. But at the same time, like how much responsibility do they hold for the ultimate end? I forget, what planet were they on?
Jeddah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Volkswagen didn't say anything about that.
Jedha.
Okay.
Jeddah.
So we say I drive a Jetta. That's great.
Same.
Great product placement.
Yeah.
Do we both drive Jettas?
Yeah, black Jettas. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for both of us then.
I mean, mine's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
For now, just wait. It's still less than a year old. Just give it time.
Oh no, mine's a 16, buddy.
Oh, okay, shit. All right.
I put 40,000 miles on that boy this year.
Damn.
But I mean, you had like Forrest Whitaker torturing people and shit. Like obviously, and I think that's with this like new stretch of Star Wars content we're getting, they're trying to achieve that. Like obviously Finn is a stormtrooper and he ends up being the good guy. So we're seeing that there are people on one side, like, the side perceived as bad, capable of being good, and vice versa.
You still have the Jetta thing?
No, there was no segue there. So you were like, I put 40,000 miles on that bad boy. And Derek goes, and Forrest Whitaker's torturing people. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, is he in the back seat of the Jetta? Like, what? Where is this happening?
I just like to go on record to say that Forrest Whitaker can do whatever he wants in the backseat of my Jetta as long as it's consensual.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Derek was finishing a serious point. I'm sorry for
no. That's okay. I got it out. That was the whole thing.
Okay. Speaking of fucking awesome Star Wars, we have to talk about episode 6 of The Mandalorian called The Tragedy. And oh man, here's one for you guys. What a joy that episode was. Ooh. Jesus.
It's another one.
Jesus Christ. God. Not only did they give us the live action Ahsoka Tano debut, but they followed it up with the return of Boba Fett. And I'm spilling all my load right out in front. Not only did they bring Boba Fett back, but after 40 years, has it been 40 years? After his initial display of doing nothing and dying like a bitch, he's actually a badass character now. There are so many fucking Star Wars hardcore fans that loved Boba Fett when he did nothing, absolutely nothing to earn that fucking title. And he is so brutal in this episode.
Yes.
And I fucking love it. And I'm gonna let Scott start. How do you feel about it? We'll do the brief overview, mention a couple things you like, and then we'll deep dive into a little.
I mean, from the second I saw the Slave One pulling up,
oh boy,
like you got to understand, man. I had a Slave One when I was a little kid. I had a Slave One Lego set. I had Boba Fett was my dude, and looking back on it again, like in the movies, you don't really see him do anything, but in the Legends stuff, man, like Tales from Tales of the Bounty Hunter Volume 1, Tales from Jabba's Palace Volume 1, Boba Fett was just this force to be fucking reckoned with. And in the extended universe, they flush him out, and to see them like take they're kind of borrowing a little bit from both of those novels in the fact that he obviously reemerged from the Sarlacc pit. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out he was Dengar's best man at his wedding at some point in like a throwaway line or something along the lines that mentions Dengar. Dude, it was just everything about this episode, dude. Everything was fucking awesome. Seeing him use the what's the staff called? Boffy staff? Goffy staff, sorry.
Yeah.
Seeing him like just shatter faces, like entire masks. Just,
dude.
The one bit that stands out almost the most to me out of anything is that subtle nod to Indiana Jones where she pushes the rock and you just watch it mow down. I'm just like Spielberg has got to be like smirking watching this right now.
Yeah, but the guy on the
somewhere.
turret has to be the dumbest stormtrooper on the face of the planet. He had like a lot of time to get out of the way, and he just tried to shoot the boulder coming in.
Yeah. I thought about that, and then I was like, yeah, but it was pretty cool, so I'm not mad.
I'm not mad about it at all, yeah.
Also,
I was like, what a moron! That was cool.
That music we heard a few episodes back, we were like, what is this new? It's Boba Fett's new theme, right? That like fucking, it sounds like the seventh seal of hell is opening. Like that fucking like Old Testament, or I guess, it would be Old Testament, right?
Yeah, Old Testament, totally. He was way angrier in Old Testament,
Yeah, he was pretty mean.
Well, I'm trying to think of where the Book of Revelations is from, where they talk about like how the horns will sound and the world will end. Like it has like that fucking guttural. Oh god,
I think Revelations is new. I think, only because it's the end of the whatever. Who cares?
We're all a little rusty on our Bible study here, listeners. Just so you know.
Yeah,
I'll have to go ask my group.
I'll bring it up in Bible study this week. Don't worry, y'all. Dude, like, but the sound when they first pan up and they show him with he's dad bod Boba, but
oh god, yes,
yeah,
just
he's Boba thick,
yeah. But dude, like, fuck. But dude, like that fucking like horn section that swells up and it's just.
Even when he switches back to the pistol and he's shooting people, he's like forcefully. He's like, it's like
so fucking angry, and it's just like, I know we're supposed to only be scratching the surface here, so I don't want to dive headfirst in. Just oh my god, dude. There's so much that's great about it. There's so many like, baby Yoda at the end.
Dude.
Yeah.
You know what? Like when he scans up and he looks at him in like infrared, and you see his little ears flapping in the wind, and he looks all sad. I was like, oh fuck, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so sad.
God, dude. I'm gonna put a button on it until we're in open discussion. But there's so much that I want to say.
Yeah, Derek, hurry the fuck up so we can get open discussion. I'm just kidding.
All right. So
overall,
here's I know we want to get through this, and so I'm going to truncate this as best I can. But like, I think something that we talk about on the show a lot is fanboyism, and there's sort of like a like negligent irony there to like be a fan of something and to hate fanboyism. We see like there's this nebulous. Everybody has a different definition of it, right? Because there are people who like the girls do it better scene from Endgame. Like everybody views fanboy.
Yeah, but those people are wrong.
Yeah, of course, right? But that's the idea. Like, but I think like this is a perfect example of them like fixing rampant fanboyism, right? Because Boba Fett he did nothing in the original trilogy. He had like 3 lines of dialogue. He barely shot, even like unholstered his fucking blaster, and everybody loved him. That's fanboyism.
And he went out like such a bitch.
Just the worst. Yeah. He got killed by a blind guy. So
kicked in the jetpack. Like,
well, not killed, of course, now, but
yeah.
So for them to like take all that like fucking 43 years of just like, why do we like him as much as we do? And to say like, well, here's why you like him as much as you do.
Yeah.
I think was done so fucking eloquently.
Oh, like, so good.
I was literally screaming. Like I felt like I was like Reddit facing the entire time. I was like embarrassed because I just felt like a kid again. Like I felt like I was watching A New Hope for the first time again. Like this awesome thing is unfolding before me. And, that's really it. I mean, you guys kind of hit every other note that I wanted to hit. It was just excellent. I don't think like, I think I'm still in like the fucking afterglow of that massive orgasm that I had. But like since then, I've been trying to think of one character design that I like better than like Boba Fett with the Tusken Raider robe underneath. And I just can't fucking think of anything, man, dude. He looked excellent. Even with the fucking beer gut, he looked great.
Yeah, I mean, and I think part of that is the robes were bunchy underneath the armor, but he also is a little thicker. He's thick fat, Boba thick, whichever one you want to go with.
The armor doesn't seem like it's the same size as it was in the original. You know what I mean? Like it looks like it's it looks like it's been warped or fucked up. Probably from
it's totally the armor. It's totally the armor.
I mean, the armor is definitely warped in certain spots.
Not all those beers.
Same as like his face is all burned up. Like I mean, I don't know whether the Sarlacc pit would. I mean, I'm assuming since he was far underneath and he was in the armor when he was in the Sarlacc pit, I'm assuming that Beskar can be affected by the digestive juices of a Sarlacc.
Yeah, at least a little bit. I mean, you saw it took the paint off of a lot of the armor.
Yeah. Like it's definitely like, I mean, and it's only been 6 years since the event of Jedi.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's no way that armor would have aged 30 to 40 years if it wasn't corrosion. But I mean, that's just semantics, just nerdy. But God, dude, I mean,
I don't know if you know what podcast you're on, but this is
yeah. I got it.
Oh, also, I like literally almost teared up when Boba said the same line that.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy.
Trying to make my way through the galaxy. I was like, holy fucking shit! I thought that was excellent.
It did get me, and the thing about Boba, so open discussion time. But the thing about Boba's appearance that really got me, even more so than Ahsoka. So I gotta say something blasphemous, not blasphemous, but you probably will disagree. Ahsoka's appearance was more meaningful in live action than Boba's reappearance was. And that's only because I've been so invested in Ahsoka in the last decade of my life and watching her character arc. And I know all the people she's interacted with and all the storylines and all the heartbreak she's gone through. And there's so much story for Ahsoka to finally see her get her due and be realized in live action and to be represented so fucking well. But as we talked about last week, it wasn't a fizzle of an appearance, but it happened so quickly. I was not ready for it. Like I was ready for this big moment where I went, "Oh fuck!" And really, I was like, "Huh, she's right there. It's just started." Okay, this episode got me. The intro when I saw Slave One, I was downstairs watching it with my wife, and I was like, holy fucking shit!
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Slave One, and I was like, oh, I forgot Boba made a small appearance at the end of the first episode, and they were bringing it back now, and fuck, dude, I mean, they went so finely detailed, and they changed some canon shit that I absolutely have to bring up because I am that nerd.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that he has fucking knee rockets that they brought up in the Star Wars encyclopedia books, but he fucking used them. They're supposed to be so sick.
They're supposed to be poison darts initially, but now they're explosive.
Yeah.
At least in Legends, they were like poisoned. He would like be able to like take somebody out without making any noise, but by putting his knee up, basically.
I literally said, "Ooh, a knee gun!" I yelled it out like a fucking child might. Like that's how giddy I was. It was I was like embarrassed to be myself, but also very happy that something could get me that excited.
Now I know initially in I think it was the Clone Wars, they make reference to Jango Fett not really being a Mandalorian, saying that he just wore the armor.
Yeah.
But this kind of corrected that and said that he was a foundling.
Oh yeah.
And that he fought
just
in the Mandalorian Civil War.
That brings a lot of EU stuff into canon too, because there were comic book threads of his father as a child watching his parents get murdered by the warring factions on Mandalore, and watching him escape and being taken in by the true Mandalorians who were in opposition to Death Watch, who were the ones that took in Din Djarin. So they are actually taken in by different clans,
right?
Which I'm sure is probably not going to be a big deal because how would that get brought up? But yeah, I mean, in past iterations, Boba Fett's armor was not made of Beskar, and they've changed that. They said it was Beskar.
Right.
It was it Durasteel or whatever it was not Beskar. Yeah. So that's different. But it was just so cool to get the Jango line about making his way through the fucking galaxy made me like literally choke up
just
a little
like
bit.
My
I was like, oh my god. And then the line about he was after everything was said and done, and he pulls up the code and he goes, "Look, this family's been in my family for generations." And of course, some nerd even larger than myself translated that shit, and it said foundling father Jango. It showed like the clan, and it's just it was so fucking cool. There's so many good things in this fucking episode, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was sorry. Just even the way that he says Boba Fett, like when he pronounces his
Boba.
name in like a weird little way. Like it has like a little stank on it. I'm like, I love it so much.
Yeah.
I wish I could pronounce it like that, so I would do it every single time, but I can't.
Well, I instantly remembered his father calling to him from Attack of the Clones, and I'm pretty sure he said it the same way.
Yeah, he says like Boba. Yeah.
Boba. Yeah. This is me, Boba Fett. And you're like, are you from Gabon, bro? Because you sound like you might be from West Africa a little bit. I like it. I like that flavor in the pronunciation there.
Little stank.
Also, while like I know we gotta wind it up here soon, but dude, having Robert Rodriguez direct this episode was a fantastic choice. Say what you will about him as a writer, but this dude does action so fucking well. And
so tasty.
Yeah, and like there isn't. I know, like I'm not usually one who's like gushing over cinematography. I'm usually more stuck on like the narrative. But it's like there's so many shots in this where I just like, again, like the boulder rolling down, like that single. Oh, dude, fuck! It's just like all the action in this was shot so well. There were a lot of fast cuts, but none of them felt sloppy to me. It all felt like
no.
It all felt entirely necessary. I didn't feel like, we talked about it before. Like back, I think episode 4 of this season, about how like there was the one shot of the TIE fighter coming around, and about how it was one singular shot, about how the bike's dropping, it was one shot instead of multiples. And you would talk, Derek, about how sometimes when there's too many quick cuts, it looks more amateurish to you.
Yeah.
And since we've had that conversation, I've been paying more attention to the things I watch for the cuts, like more so than I usually would have.
Okay, thank you, man.
No problem, bub. And in this one, man, like I was paying close attention. I watched this episode 3 fucking times already. Like I watched it twice that I did air, and then I watched it again last night. And dude, it was just everything felt so perfect, man.
It
the
almost
action,
comes down to like when you do like quick cuts in an action sequence, it's almost like when the degree difference between the cuts is too great. That's when you get kind of like, what the fuck? Like it kind of gives you a headache a little bit. If it's just this slight thing to show a different angle, like he's looking this way to shoot someone, it's not that bad. But I agree that like the two shots that like shine to me were first when he first lands and you turn around and like the stormtrooper is looking up at him and he's just like this towering fucking force, dude. Was so good, dude. It was framed so fucking well. And then of course the one where he shoots down the ship, it falls into the other one, and right as he turns around and faces the camera, they fucking explode in the background. Oh my god, dude, it was so good.
That was the fucking Boba Fett money shot. Like I'm like, okay, I was almost like, okay, guys, I get it. You try to make him look badass. He's like, shit's happening behind me because I don't give a fuck.
but he also admitted, he's like, I wasn't even aiming for that one. You know what I mean?
I was aiming for the other one,
But that's
I was like, okay.
It's also kind of cool because they showed him be extremely unlucky. You know what I mean? Like the hair. We always shit on Boba Fett for getting knocked off by a blind guy, but that was dumb luck. That was just bad luck on his part and good luck on Han Solo's part, that he managed to hit him in a way that set the jetpack off and sent him flying into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. And
here we see luck play out in his favor instead of against him. You know, and it's just, I thought it was just kind of cool to show that like he is a very like he is a great fighter. He's a badass. He's a marksman, but also that with all those things going on though, it's still like luck of the draw, baby. You know what I mean? Like it's, anything could happen still. I thought that was kind of like, in a way, like a subtle nod to like him being beaten in the way that he was before wasn't in any way an indicator of his skill set or his level. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of times it's we've done it ourselves. We brought it up and dogged on him for it about how he did nothing. Yeah, but it just just random luck.
Yeah, and I mean I can go like 10 minutes past 8. That's not a big deal because I did want to actually give some generic thoughts on the turd that is Fat Man, but there's a couple things I have to go over. So, whereas we were talking early on in the season about how there was a couple filler episodes, the last 2 episodes, there has been not a lick of filler. They have been nothing but juicy Star Wars meat, and I have been fucking in love with it. There was so little. Everything matters right now. Everything happening is fucking important. And when the episode started and he was like, "We're here. We're at Tython," I was like, yes, thank you for not doing another like stowaway adventure or some random shit like that.
And that's the thing. That's how it should have been for this entire season. Like you can do one-offs in between, but it shouldn't be 40 minutes to get. I don't want to watch the journey to the destination every single fucking time. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's been.
It seems like that's done now, though. It seems like they got that out of the way so that they could just have all lean meat moving forward.
Yeah, because this is 8 episodes like the first season, right? So, and I have a pretty pretty basic outline in my head of what I think's going to happen. So it's pretty clear to me. So he looks up. Bill Burr, what a fucking surprise.
Yeah.
Mayfeld.
So excited. So excited for next week, boys.
I had no inkling that he would ever show up again. I thought he was just a guest cameo. And now that he's like, I need to get this guy out of jail. I need him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's getting the fucking band together.
Yep.
So he's probably going to go back and ask Ahsoka to help out. He's going to be like, they have the child. I need your fucking help. I think it's going to be like assembling the fucking squad next episode. And then episode 8 is probably going to be the giant battle to get
Cobb Vanth maybe coming back.
Yeah. Because he said, I hope maybe he brings Cobb Vanth back. I feel like that's what they did in the first season. They introduced a bunch of characters and then they all kind of came together at the end. So
hopes and dreams for a scene where Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett are in the same room and Cobb Vanth just looks them up and down and says something along the lines of, that used to be my armor, you know, like something along those lines where like he has no idea that it was Boba Fett's for generations. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, so Baby Yoda's, aka Grogu, on the stone, obviously used powers to call out to somebody. So it would seem like he made the decision to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're gonna find out who that is at the end of probably the season. Probably like the stinger shot on the fucking season is gonna be whoever he called out to.
I've heard some theories.
Okay.
I've heard some theories that I don't think are going to come to pass, but that I wish would.
Okay.
And if I don't want to end up pushing Fat Man, so I'm going to try to keep it real short.
Yeah, I'd hate to take up the Fat Man time with something we really enjoyed, right?
I mean, I'm also down to summarize Fat Man by just saying it's bad. Don't rent it. It's very bad.
Yeah, no, I was prepared to use our 1, 2, 3 shit and turn it into a 1, 2, 3 fuck that movie, and that's just the end of the podcast because fuck, you know,
it's not good. I mean, we've talked about the obvious that, or you know, it could be Luke Skywalker. There's another Jedi that you had mentioned last week from Ezra.
Rebels, yeah.
But there's also there's rumors that it could be Mace Windu. We never, like, you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about it before that when you want to kill somebody off, you show them die. Like we made that argument before.
Well, I mean, Boba Fett's the prime example. He's right here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Old man Mace Windu coming back could be the coolest fucking thing ever. It really could.
You know what's funny? I just saw a video of theories about how he could have survived. Yeah. And that would be cool.
Well, because we've seen Luke fall from fucking Cloud City, like hundreds of stories, and just hits the bottom of that tube without breaking a single bone.
Just right.
Yeah, like he's on a fucking water slide at Dorney Park, only there's less human feces in the water. By the way, guys, if your family ever took you to Dorney Park and Wild Water Kingdom as a kid, or Hershey Park, I'm sorry that you're poor and you didn't go to Six Flags and your parents never told you.
I'm sorry that you have hepatitis because you clearly have hepatitis.
No, but another one is Cal Kestis.
Oh right,
we have.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, obviously Cal Kestis would be much older by now because how long after the rule? I mean, it's 10 years after Order 66 is when, like 10 to 15 years after, because he's a little 8-year-old kid. Yeah. He's a Padawan when Order 66 is executed in Fallen Order. I'm not sure how old he's supposed to be canonically when Jedi Fallen Order takes place. My guess would be like mid-20s.
I just looked it up. Well, I looked up the range of the game. Fallen Order occurs 5 years after Anakin becomes Vader, so he would be an adult for sure because he was through the whole original trilogy.
Yeah. So 5 years after Vader. I mean, Cal Kestis could be, you know, I mean, I don't know if it
30s,
tracks
40s, maybe, you know.
Well, I mean, he's a
like
young actor. I don't know if it would track at all, but, you know, they've also made it known that Jedi Fallen Order is going to be a trilogy of games, and we've never had a Star Wars.
I can't fucking wait.
We've never had
know that. That's excellent to hear.
Yeah. We've never had a Star Wars game that's its own self-contained story that's also entirely canon until Fallen Order. I don't think in the new Disney, right? Is that correct?
No, Fallen Order is canon.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Fallen Order is the first one in the new Disney canon that is canon.
Right.
But also Dark Forces is officially, well, parts of it are officially canon now too with the Dark Troopers.
Yeah. Which were also kind of interesting.
Yeah. But also, like, a lightsaber's gonna cut right through them bitches. You might as well just put jetpacks on stormtroopers. Like, what the fuck are you wasting all that money for?
I did
You're still lightsaber fodder, baby.
Apparently, their like outer shell is lightsaber resistant.
Oh,
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't think it's Beskar. I don't know what it would be, to be honest with you. I didn't dig into what the material was, but it said resistant. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, you have to hit it at like the joints or something.
Right.
I heard a really cool theory. So, end of the episode, Mando goes to the Razor Crest got demolished, so now they're all hanging out in the Slave One. So much cool shit happened in this episode.
Upgrade!
What was that?
I said upgrade, but I shouted like an asshole.
So he picks up the Beskar spear. So now he's got this Beskar spear, and Beskar can stop lightsabers. Mm-hmm. And I heard a really cool theory that the final battle in the series might be two people. It might be Moff Gideon with a Darksaber. So two people who are not Force users in a battle that involves a lightsaber, like the Darksaber versus him with the Beskar spear. Yeah. And I would be super fucking down if the show went out kind of low key like that. Like obviously the battle probably wouldn't be low key at all, but the fact like having two non-Force wielders it would be true to the tone of the show where they've done some cool shit. They've had some bombastic cameos, I would say, but they don't ever make it about those larger than life characters. They keep it on Mando and the kid.
One thing is Mando doesn't have a definitive like arch nemesis. Like Moff Gideon is a villain, but they up until Grogu, aka Kid, aka Baby Yoda, has been kidnapped. There's been no personal stakes involving Moff Gideon aside from them being like, yo, fuck that guy. And he fucks up his Imperial TIE or his what is it? TIE Interceptor, was it? Yeah, I forget. It's TIE Defender, maybe? TIE Defender. It was a weird one. Aside from that, that's the only interaction they've had face to face. Like that was that standoff in the town. And you don't hear Mando talk about him once since then. Like Mando's never like, what happened to that guy? You know what I mean? But I did think it was really cool that I think it was like midway through season 1, we watched that little red faced alien whose species I don't know the name of plant the beacon on the Razor Crest, and now like what 8 episodes later, we're seeing that come to fruition, seeing that play itself out. Like that was really fucking. That was a slow burn with a big payoff. Yeah, that was really fucking absolutely. Cool. That's what happens when you have one person or one or two people in charge of the story arc for an entire series, as opposed to the entire prequel trilogy, where it was a fucking cluster nightmare because they didn't put one person in charge of the whole fucking thing. You can't plant seeds and have them pay off later if you hand every new movie off to someone else with no one paying attention. Anyway. Yeah.
So I just wanted to propose, I wanted to see what you guys thought about Grogu and his channeling of the Force energy, whatever he was sending the signal out. Do we think that he unlocked the memories that he's missing? Because it seemed like when he was on that ship, where before, every time he uses his Force powers, it's like in a time of dire need or just like accidentally. And it seemed like he had intent. He was like, fuck you guys. Yeah, like he was trying to do that. As much as the end, I'm sorry to cut you off. As much as the end of that scene is super sad because he's all tired and you're like, oh, he's whimpering. He fucks them up. I mean, he's grabbing two at a time, just throwing them against each other. Yeah, dude. Yeah. The double Force choke. That's skiing, baby. I oh my god. I just imagined a porn star that has the Force and she like Force jerks people off from across the room. Right. Unknowingly, you're at the grocery store and you're just like, Never mind. It's too weird. It's too weird. I'm not even doing it. Oh, my M count. Oh god. Bringing it back. I was gonna say that, like, as far as like Baby Yoda towards the end there, I feel like he had just tapped into this anger. He knew. We've seen him in the last few episodes be way more aware of his surroundings, or at least we're acknowledging it now. Like it was hard to gauge what his mental capacity was before. He was always just like a little kid playing with stuff and being very reactionary to life and death situations, like stopping the fire of the grenade in episode 7 of season 1, lifting up the mud horn. Yeah, but now we see him like tapped into like anger. He's furious. He knows he's been kidnapped. He knows he's with bad people, and he's beating the shit out of them because he's so full of anger, which is also very foretelling of what Ahsoka said last episode about. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I don't think they're gonna go down that path where they have this cute little pop culture icon turn into a Sith, because like also it would be the most adorable little Sith of all time. Like, who's not gonna? You know what I mean? It's also cool that they're doing it though, as a possibility, because it just shows like, oh, just because he's one of the same species as like the ultimate Jedi, of all time, it doesn't mean that he's not susceptible to those like young Jedi impulses of like, hey, fuck you, actually.
Yeah.
He's not a demigod,
cool.
you know?
And that was one of the things I actually liked about one of the only things I liked about Rise of Skywalker is when they're fighting over hold on Chewbacca's ship and she just gets mad and like the lightning comes out. She's not even thinking about it. She's just like something just happens. I thought it was a cool way to illustrate like that not every person who becomes a Sith is like an active choice that they make like when they're calm. It's like usually something that happens when they're enraged and they don't have like their you know, all of their agency. So I think showing him do that double force choke was like, oh, okay, cool. So they're showing that like everybody is capable of like sort of giving into those urges.
Yeah. I mean, also, you know, Luke force choked the Gamorrean guard in Return of the Jedi, and he was pretty much good side at that point. Like it's always like a gray area for like, obviously it's much more like tied to the dark side, but it's been wobble between both sides here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know. The episode was fucking phenomenal. Like start to finish. I can't say enough good shit about Fennec Shand. We got confirmation that was Boba Fett in season 1, way back in season 1 when Fennec Shand first showed up.
Yeah.
And there's this mysterious footsteps walking up to her. Now we know it's Boba Fett saving her life, who she now owes a life debt to. Yeah. And now to start getting the band together, so to speak, for the finale, Boba, being a good fucking dude, says, I told you, is giving the armor back, like I would help you get the baby. So I would help make sure he was safe. And because I'm going to help you get him back, basically. And you're like, oh, fucking shit.
What code is he adhering to? But like,
I don't know, Mandalorian code, maybe.
But he's not really a Mandalorian, is he?
Honor code.
I mean bounty hunters.
Scouts honor.
Bounty hunters do have a code of honor. That.
Nah, he's still a wee below. He hasn't gotten to Boy Scouts yet.
Yeah, I mean the bounty hunters do have like I would think like some kind of, you know, guild code or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
but also in episode 2 of this season, they kind of with the frog lady, like she brings up that he had given his word, that Mandalorian had given his word, and she heard they always keep their word.
Yeah, that's true.
So it could be something along those lines, even though he doesn't. He says himself like I don't claim loyalty to anybody, or I don't whatever he fucking says.
Yeah.
But like
something loyalty.
Boba Fett says that little throwaway line. Boba Fett says that little line like I claim allegiance to no one or something like that. But I mean, still he was raised by someone who was raised by the Mandalorians, and I'm sure just in a way to even just honor his father's memory, he would want to
by proxy. Yeah.
By proxy, he would want to. Yeah, by proxy, he would want to live his life the way that he saw his father live his own, and the way that his father told him he should live his life. Because Boba was with him through all that shit, and like literally watched him die at the hands of Mace Windu. Which again, if Mace Windu comes back, that's the man who killed Boba Fett's father.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh shit! Yeah,
shit could get real fucking crazy. Yeah. So that's my fondest hope. I love Cal Kestis, and now that Shameless is over, that handsome young gentleman could use another franchise to ride the coattails of until he's in his mid-30s. But also Samuel L. Jackson, man, I'd love to see that bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, Sam J has said in the past, like he's like, "Yo, if you want me to do Windu again,
absolutely,
you can make me be a cyborg or something." He's like, "I'll do it. Like I want to do it again."
Yeah. He was the best. One of the best parts about the trilogy. One of the best actors. Good. Him, McGregor, and fucking old angry guy always wants to kill someone.
Okay.
Liam Neeson. McGregor, Neeson, and Jackson were the best part about the and I love Natalie Portman. I love her, but she can only act so well when she's standing next to a cardboard cutout of a handsome young guy.
She was not good in the prequels.
No. But look who she was bouncing lines off of.
You mean the mannequin that was supposed to be Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah, Mannequin Skywalker.
Holy shit.
That's
episode title.
Episode title.
All right, so it's Mannequin Skywalker, and it's John Cena cardboard cutout peeking out from behind a corner of Solid Snake. Okay, so do you guys? I mean, if you guys are okay with it, I'm totally fine writing off the entirety of Fat Man by literally doing our count live on the podcast and saying "fuck Fat Man" instead of shit.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. There's not much to say. I was on my phone the entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Bad.
Your time would be better spent getting a prostate exam. That at least you know you don't have any kind of cancer going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would rather spend an hour and 30 minutes with a man
cancer.
knuckle deep in my butthole than watch Fat Man again.
Walter Goggins, bro. He's born to play shit tier villains, and he fucking knows it. And I kind of admire that, but he's god awful.
This movie had all the right bits and pieces to be clever and funny and ultra violent, and it's just Walter Goggins looking for him for an hour and 15 minutes. And when he finds him, it's like
so underwhelming.
A 15-minute standoff where you're just like, is this over yet?
And then you find out that there was no real stakes because Santa apparently just can't be fucking killed.
Yeah.
Like he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But also the part that I loved though was where he was in the pet shop and he's like, you remind me of my mother. She never knew when to shut the fuck up either.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah. But like the casting was good. I feel like they played the parts well. Just the script wasn't there. The dialogue wasn't bad. But
the kid was god awful.
Yeah,
his acting and his dialogue, or his acting and the dialogue itself was fucking horrible.
I mean, I found him very accurate in his portrayal of an unbearable little cunt. But that's
true.
That's true.
But again, like you said, you were on your phone.
He wasn't acting.
You were on your phone. I came home from like a 12-hour shift and watched it at like 4 a.m. I may have rubbed one out at one point too on my phone when I got bored in the middle. I can't remember. I can't say for certain. But if there were any rope shed, they were not in relation to the movie, though. It was a terrible movie.
There is something to be said about, like, regardless of how much of a fall from grace Mel Gibson has taken, and rightfully so, because he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
We've all said that. There's no love lost here. Like, he's a kind of a piece of shit. He is a good actor because he does a lot with a little bit of material here. And I like Derek said something in chat. He was like, I just want Gibson to like lull me to sleep. And I'm like, his voice
is so good.
Real good.
He clearly thought that this movie, like, it was misrepresented to him because he was way too enthusiastic. He like really acted it well. And like,
yeah, there was a couple lines where I'm like, that wouldn't have worked if anybody else said it. Like, good on you for being a good fucking actor.
But also the fact that everyone called him Fat Man the entire time, just like,
I know.
Like I want the fat man.
Yeah, I hate when like a movie. I hate when a movie says its name in dialogue, and this one did it like 8 times. Every time I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
You're like fat, like Wilford Brimley. Like I don't understand which fat guy are you talking about? I'm sorry, we bring him up a lot.
Yeah, we do. We like him. He's our bud.
We miss him dearly.
Yeah, the bad boy of the Beatles.
Yeah.
All right, I wasn't kidding. We're gonna do behind the scenes 1, 2, 3 fuck Fat Man because that's exactly how I feel about it. So before we sign off, you can find us at the Schmeg Nerd on Twitter, SHMEG Nerd. You can find us at facebook.com/the cynical nerd. You can ask us a question on Twitter with hashtag AskTCN if we fucked something up. If you want to correct us, or if you think Derek's top knot is attractive, then you can hit us up with hashtag fucktcn. We all stream on various platforms. Well, Derek and I on one platform. Scott has since branched out. You can find me, Chris, on Twitch and Twitter at TCN Plays. Scott, how about you?
I'm on Twitch, Facebook Gaming, and YouTube. Swearwolf, SWEARWOLFE. That is Swearwolf with an E. Like you said, we've been doing streams together every Wednesday night around 8 to 9 p.m. usually start. So
yeah,
been a lot of fun.
Super fun. Derek, how about you?
And you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD. But I pretty much only stream with these two fellas at this point. So, but you can hit my Twitter for sure.
It's a win for me. All right, so little behind the scenes action here. Every time we record, we have to, for production purposes, we have to line them up. I have to give a countdown. We typically say shit. I have a whole lot of B-reel footage of Derek saying shit in various tones, and one day we'll release it upon the world. So today, in honor of just how piss poor this movie was, we're going to use fuck Fat Man as our phrase. I'm going to 3, 2, 1, fuck Fat Man. So here we go, and I guess afterwards we'll say goodnight. So 3, 2, 1, fuck Fat Man. All right, guys, have a good night.
See ya.